Hello, 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 hello. Mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2. Welcome back. It is the Random Show with your host, Agostino Zinga. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Wherever everyone may be, I hope you're doing fine. Hope you're doing smoking. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Hope you're doing smoking. Hope you're doing good, and all things in between. I am doing lovely. Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Got a little feed on. You feel me? Nice to nourish and all that good shit. Got some liquids in me. Pause or no diddy, but you know how it is. We run, we roll, we run, we roll. I hope all of you are doing well, wherever you may be catching me on this lovely evening. So we got some things to talk about today. Many things to touch upon. We're gonna go over some old ground, go over some new ground, go over some interesting ground and all of that stuff, and just keep it moving. You feel me? Yeah. What are we gonna say? What are we gonna say here? 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 Too many things to kind of crack on and talk about. Many things have happened already. So big up everybody for tuning in for the first part of the stream. Well, not the first part of the stream yesterday or whenever I did it. But we're gonna do another one today, which is gonna crack on and just talk about the things that need to be spoken about, because you know what? Why the flip not? You know, why the flip not? So big up everybody. Appreciate all for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. Never a flipping chore. So thank you for hanging with the boy. Thank you for tuning in. Big up Stephen Castaneda. I already spoke about it, brother, in the first one. So if you haven't seen it already, I gave my initial reaction about that whole Diddy thing in the initial stream from before. So check the one beforehand. It's right at the beginning. I kind of just get spoken about that. So yeah, you can check that out there. But you know how it is, isn't it? Regular shit. What else am I gonna say? I'm not gonna say it's good. So yeah. You know what's funny though? You know what's funny? I've been listening to academics in the background while I've been doing my thing. And it's really interesting when somebody is like, I guess, compromised how they approach things, because he seems to be more worried and perturbed about how that video got out and how did he allegedly paid somebody 50,000 for that video, and it still ended up getting out there despite Cassie signing an NDA, despite them settling out of court. Academic seems to be way more concerned about how that video got out, and also he seems to be stressing that nothing will happen to Diddy. He's fine. Hip hop will be okay. People will still be his friend. Like all these weird things. It's like, bro, that's not really the point, really. You know, if that's a conclusion you come away from watching that video, it probably goes to show that you've probably got some skeletons in your closet, innit? Because surely the only thing you can think of when you see that video is, yeah, people should just be like, you know, being very outright, very clear, and very straightforward, and very direct about violence against women being completely unacceptable. That's the only conclusion. There's nothing else you can come away from. And obviously, maybe speaking about power and influence and the culture of silence, that's like an add-on. But the main takeaway you should have from that is like, there's no excuse for that level of violence against a woman at all. Zero. There is none. So the fact that academics is seeing that and be like, oh, yeah, man, how'd that video get out? Oh, you gotta wonder. Oh. And I think he posed this rhetorical question that wasn't really rhetorical. I'm just reading the room. I'm just trying to see what's going on. He was like, if that was you and you paid the money, would you think that was like scummy? It's like, what do you mean? You think wasn't it scummy when he pulled her to the ground by her hair? Wasn't it scummy when he stomped on her body, laying prone on the floor? Wasn't it scummy when he threw a vase at her head? Wasn't it funny that he allegedly gave her a black eye before she left that room in the first place? Like, those things are scummy, no? Putting out fake stories about her in the media, wasn't that scummy? Blowing up Kid Cudi's car because he's daring to date his ex-girlfriend, wasn't that scummy? Honestly, man, academics is a wild boy, bro. But in a weird way, it makes sense. Academics probably is the biggest winner to come from this. Let's be honest. Academics is the biggest winner of that Diddy video, because everybody was talking about that, you know, academics being accused of those crazy allegations, which included rape and defamation. So, the Diddy news is probably the best thing to happen to Act. He's out of the news cycle now. People have quickly forgotten about, his situation. So I guess, in some respects, it makes sense why he's going in on it so much and why he's like trying to concentrate on that story as much, or trying to, who's big up, run it up, 647, calling me 50 pence. That's super rude, bro. That's super rude. I just started. You don't have to insult me in the first like 5 minutes of the stream. Maybe wait for an hour. Maybe wait for the hour. The first hour you can insult me, but you don't insult me the first 5 minutes. You have to give me a chance to bed in a bit. Fucking hell. Niggas out here calling me 50 pence, That's fucking rude. Anyway, whatever. Fuck all you hoes. Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, big up Ruben Rivera. I've got the same theory. Blame King Combs and his diss track. I'm wondering, a lot of these guys, right, if the narcissism and the ego and the bravado is the one that cost them the most. I think that's the case, because it's like, do you remember, this is a bad analogy, this is a bad sort of like correlation, but you remember back in the day, or do you remember before, do you remember the Chris D'Elia allegations, right? The Chris D'Elia allegations were funny in that they happened during COVID, if I remember correctly. I think it was during the lockdown, early stages of the lockdown. And Chris was on that season, I think it might be the second season or first season of You. And he played a paedophile. And I think, what happened is that one girl was watching You, but didn't know Chris was in it. And then live tweeted, oh my God. And then that set off the whole chain reaction of him getting cancelled. I think a lot of those guys do that. They have this like, it's almost like a weird confidence that they're untouchable. So they start to like push the limits. Like, why the fuck is Chris D'Elia doing? Why would you accept that role? Why would you play that role in the first place, knowing what you got in your closet? So I think they push the line. They think they're invincible. They think they're untouchable, and then they get reminded, no, you're not. So it's always like a karmic retribution, karmic all the time. So I wonder if Diddy having his kid jump out of the window and say, oh yeah, we still up, the fucking Combs family never fumbling. They raided a house, but all the good shit was next door, like obviously incriminating his dad, talking some mad shit on there. And then obviously Diddy coming out on his Instagram and posting all this shit, because I'm sure some of you guys seen it, right? I've just checked it out in a minute. But have you seen Diddy's Instagram? Diddy's been very active on his Instagram. He hasn't really stopped. He's posting the whole entire time. Like, nothing really changed on his Instagram. Nothing. He's all the same stuff. He's still out here posting bits and bobs. Let me get up here so you can see. He's still out here posting shit on his Instagram. Like, nothing changed. Just as of the other day, he had a post here from like, how many days ago is it? 5 days ago. 5 days ago. 5 days ago. 5 days ago. Another one. 3 days ago. 2 days ago. Like, he's still been out here posting as per normal. Nothing really changed. That's the crazy thing about it. So I wonder if a lot of this, has to do with like tempting fate. You tempt fate so much, you push the line so much, people just like, okay, cool. Now you're taking the piss, and then they just knock you off your perch. I wonder if a lot of this is kind of to do with that, like, there's even a lack of like, especially with some of these abusers, I wouldn't say there's a lack of humility, but there's a lack of like, there's never like a moment of clarity, which makes you think some of these people are evil, because they don't have any ability to just like, oh shit, okay, this was probably bad, and kind of try and move past it as, what you call it, with some sort of level of respect and tact for the situation, or the severity of the situation, or whatever, just something, you know what I mean, just whatever. Nah, it's all just this weird shit. It's like, rah, dead, bruh. And obviously the comments are going crazy. What's the comments on RIP to Kim Porter? What's the comments on hers? Nigga, you the reason she not here anymore. If Cassie went through that, imagine what Kim went through. So nigga gonna sit here and act like he ain't off her. Narcissism at his finest. We know he did it to Kim. I ain't gonna come out soon. Who else ran straight to the comments? The photo on the boat right before broke her nose. The last thing you need to do is celebrate a person that you got rid of. This is sick. She was writing a tell-all book and then died. She was murdered. The audacity. Jesus Christ. Hold on, what did this person say to him? Yo, this person's gonna get rinsed, isn't it? Look at honestly, black people love this. Like, I don't know why there's some black people that love this. They always want to look like godly and saintly and extend like grace and forgiveness to people who probably don't deserve it. Like, not everybody can be saved, bro. Like, it's just not possible. If everybody could be saved, what's the purpose of having a devil? What's the purpose of hell existing if everybody could get saved? It doesn't make any sense. Look at this person. Dear Diddy, in the midst of turmoil and accusations, I extend a message of hope and redemption to you. Remember, it's never too late to turn to God's grace and find true transformation. As you navigate, how am I saying that for? As you navigate through the challenges and accusations, may you find solace in knowing that God's love knows no bounds. Remember the words of Isaiah 1:18. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they are red as crimson, they shall be like wool. Let this verse be a beacon of light to your darkest moments, guiding you towards a path of redemption and renewal. Embrace the power of forgiveness and allow God's mercy to work wonders in your life. It's never too late to seek redemption and to walk in the light of God's love. May you find peace and healing in His presence, and may this message be a reminder that you are never too far gone to be saved. Yo, this explains so much why there's so much abuse, so much molestation, so much grape, adultery, all this sort of stuff under the church, because people are, it's basically a culture of silence, right? Because underneath it all, oh, God's forgiveness reigns. Like, bruh, you're taking the piss. You're out here beating girls bloody black and blue in the hotel lobby. Can you imagine what this nigga was doing behind closed doors? If he's kicking this girl in the head in a fucking public hotel, or, you know, a hotel that, whatever, you know what I mean. Can you imagine what this nigga was doing behind closed doors? And also, he doesn't care about you. This is only because he's rich and famous, by the way. This is it. If he wasn't rich and famous, you wouldn't be extending this olive branch. If this is just some random guy in your hood, you wouldn't give a fuck. But because he's got money and status and clout and fame, oh yeah, let's extend the olive branch. What? Because you might get looked after down the line. All right. Yeah. There's nothing worse than overly religious people that want to like morally posture online and religious virtue signal. It's like, bruh, rein it in, bro. Some people don't deserve to be saved. Some people deserve exactly what's coming to them, whatever that is coming to them. Just get out of the way. Watch the horror show. While we almost fed off running to these, there's still time to turn the comments off. Justice for Kim Porter. I tore my ACL running to the comments. Who else is scrolling down? I wish one day everyone could just be positive and let God do the judging. It's all y'all here to need to do is questioning your mommy and daddy about them skeletons. This is an interesting comment people do, in it. So if you want, so you can't comment on stuff that you see online with public figures because your own family might have issues. Interesting way to dismiss people's, you know, critique, whatever, all that stuff. Interesting. But yeah, academics is wilding on stream, bro. Academics is wilding. I swear to God, I was like, bruh, like, the lady doth protest too much. You're doing a little bit too much with this, like, hypothetical, you know, what's that thing called? You know, there's two sides and how did the footage get out? I'm like, bruh, academics is wilding, bro. Academics is wilding. But it makes sense though, considering what he's been accused of. It makes sense why he's trying to, like, you know. But yo, Diddy's a psycho, bro. He posted this. Time tells truth. He thought the coast was clear. He literally thought the coast was clear. That's what he thought. This nigga thought the coast was clear. He literally thought, okay, cool. Kendrick Drake. Ba. Gunna just dropped. Ba. Future coming up. Ba. You know? Like, he probably thought that was what's happening, and then boom. Yeah, exactly. Big up Karaoke 20. Yeah, he's right. He's right, but on, not the way he thought he was going to be right. Exactly. Karaoke 20. Exactly. Good point. He's definitely right, but not the way he thought he would be right. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm so curious to hear what people are going to be saying now, especially the ones that are like pro Diddy and making it seem like it was some like conspiracy theory from Diageo and the higher ups and the record industry and NBC, CNBC, Fox, CNN. It was some sort of big conspiracy to take him down because he was going to be a black billionaire, blah, 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 blah. I'm curious to see what they're going to say about this shit now. I'm really curious. But I'm also very, very interested. Look, it's almost like fascinating to me how he was able to record legitimately the Love album, Off the Grid, might be one of the best albums that's come out in the last decade. On God, that Love album might be one of the best albums that's come out in the last decade. R&B wise, whatever, soul, whatever you're gonna call that genre, it's impeccable. But it goes to show the most morally irreprehensible and disgusting, downright horrible people are usually some of the best artists. Unfortunate. Kind of mad, isn't it? Guy makes probably one of the best albums I've heard in a long time, and he's out here beating women, beating dudes, probably pistol whipping people, like doing mad shit, graping, abusing. Look at this. Look at this. Big up all the people on the BX on the Boxing forums. This is the guy. This is around. Yeah, a very horrible take. Who's this guy? This name? Ezzo. This is the guy that used to be on Math Hoffa's podcast, but he's got his own podcast. Obviously, this is a clip from before, so it's not a recent one. But listen to how these people were talking about Diddy when the lawsuit came out. Listen to how they were talking about the situation. This is fascinating.
Black people act like they so excited about another black person going down that's rich. That's the part that I don't understand.
That's a bad... No, the part I don't understand is guys like him only defending people that are rich because they're rich. Like, that's a crazy thing. Like, these sort of nasty allegations, when it's a rich person, it's always benefit of the doubt. It's always, there's two sides, you never know. It's like, are you saying that because you believe it, or are you saying that because that person's got money?
Because now they're ridiculing him. Now everybody's coming out as if they know everything is factual. You don't know. You wasn't there. Everybody's saying he's guilty. It's like you're guilty before anything, my nigga. Like, you have to be...
Sometimes you are. The way the court of law works, sometimes it's okay for the random people on the internet to see what you've been accused of, even if you don't get convicted in the court of law, to say, yeah, you probably did that shit. Because sometimes you can get away with things when don't people have that concept or have that idea in their head that some people get away with things that you shouldn't get away with because it's hard to prove in a court of law. One of the biggest ones is grape. If you're a dude, go look up the conviction rates of grape. It will blow your mind. I swear to God, it's less than, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it less than like 5% or something, the conviction rate for grape? Now, don't get me wrong, it's that low number because a lot of grapes don't really get, they don't get, a lot of women don't come forward, basically. So that probably affects the numbers. But the prosecution, the actual final, it's really hard to prove that shit in court. Weirdly enough, it's really difficult to prove. So people going around say, oh, well, you got to wait for the court of law. Court's like, do you though? Do you though? Do you though? We all lived in weird parts of the world. We all know some dodgy people and what they've got up to. Did you need to have evidence to know that this person was a wrong'un? Really? Let's think about it, really. Let's think about all the people that we lived around. Neighbors, family members and shit. Were you really surprised when you heard X, Y, and Z? Exactly. Yo, big up Assad. Appreciate you, bro. Okay, cool. It's not gonna say it because it's, I don't know, something weird ass. It says, big up Assad Aziz, appreciate it, brother. NY motherfuckers really stick behind people with weird ass allegations. Just look at the Frank White and Alpo. NY claims to be so damn tough, but they can say exactly. Even the African Bambata stuff. That's been a known story from ages ago, before that dude on YouTube came out and said it. Africa Bambaata's always had funny style allegations, stuff associated with his name, PDF stuff. People have turned a blind eye. Like, come on, man. Exactly. Big up Asada Aziz. Exactly.
Proven to be guilty. I think that people have thrown that whole idea out the window. That now that they saying this stuff about Puffy, oh, he's guilty. Now, what if he comes out, he's not? Everybody say he's running to another country, extradition. He was in Miami.
Like, well, he was at the airport.
He was in Miami, though.
But he was at the airport
2 hours afterwards.
Puff Daddy has been winning since.
To be fair, my theory is this. I have nothing to prove this. I think him going on the airplane, he did try and run, but he was talked back from it. I think he's obviously an abuser, but he's also a smart dude. I think he realized he was making a wrong move and he came back. There was enough time to kind of fix it. But I do believe he was trying to run. But he got convinced by his high-powered attorneys, whatever you do, do not run. Do not try and fucking flee. You're going to make this far worse than it already is. Do not flee. And then he turned it around and made it seem like, because there wasn't really a warrant out for his arrest. It was almost like the feds were trying to goad him into a reaction. Do something, The big raid early in the morning, armed, guns out, all this malarkey. It kind of, do something. And they nearly got him, but then he came back. That's what I think. I think someone spoke sense into him and he listened and he came back. But he definitely was trying to run, in my opinion.
Since 1992, he survived losing Biggie. He survived a shootout in a club. He survived all this nonsense with Cassie.
Donald Trump did this wildest stuff in the world. He was caught. He was accused of.
Yo, big up Z. I appreciate. Yeah, that's a really good comment, actually. I was thinking about that as well during the break. My neighbor didn't call the cops when he saw the woman get attacked outside, saying he thought it was her husband. She got robbed, but it was just shows how domestic violence goes on and people look away. No, for sure. For some reason, I actually take back a lot of the things I said before about the people in the industry not reporting and not saying anything. It makes sense. Because domestic, especially if you live in an apartment block, the amount of times you've heard your neighbors argue, smash thing next door. How many times have you called the police? I haven't. Zero times. So of course that happens. But I think the thing that's funny about this situation, or that's weird, are the people that were defending it when the lawsuit was first filed. When we just had the the PDF of what went through in the lawsuit, and it was pretty evident there that Diddy was pretty a pretty horrible dude. But people were still defending it and still saying, I need to see evidence first before that's written. It's like, hold on. And also the narrative around, oh, she stayed with him much longer after the period of when she reported those crimes. And it's almost like, have you never heard of stories of women staying in relationships where they're being abused for way longer than they should have, sometimes leading to their death? Happens all the time. So why people are using that as like a stick to beat over the head with, as if like, oh, because she stayed, that automatically like invalidates her experience because she stayed after the fact. It's like, have you never heard of like married women getting raped? Is that not? I think there are some guys out there that exist who have this like brain where like they don't believe women can get raped if they're in a relationship. They have that sort of brain. It's like, oh no, but that's just how. That's not how consent works, right? It doesn't work like that. So I think there are some dudes that have that sort of brain, and also just guys who are like into that whole like entrepreneur, CEO, alpha male type of scene, who just see women as kind of like a means to an end. They don't really value them as people and shit. So maybe when it comes to abuse and stuff, they don't really see it as a big deal because it's like part and parcel of being in a relationship. Oh, this guy's a beast. He's an entrepreneur, CEO. He's got stuff on his mind. I don't know. I'm trying to think in the brain of somebody like that. Or the simple explanation is that these motherfuckers have crazy shit in their own skeletons. So they have their own crazy skeletons that they're trying to like conceal by defending Diddy, because if anything was happened to them, that's probably what it is. There's a lot of probably solidarity amongst abusers. Like abusers recognize other abusers, and you just speak in codes like this guy's doing. Like black people want to see Diddy fail. Are you allowed to want to see him fail if you've experienced domestic violence? Are you allowed to see him fail, want to see him fail if you've experienced like workplace harassment, if you've experienced bullying, if you've experienced abuse, whatever? Are you allowed to say that? I think you should be allowed to have a very biased opinion on the dude because of the experiences you've been through yourself, especially if you relate to them. Like, why is that not okay?
Being with Jeffrey Epstein, who is a known sex trafficker, he hasn't paid. He's avoided taxes. He's avoided crimes, and the white people still stand by him. Black people.
Anyway, I'm curious to find out what Ezzo was gonna say after the fact, but that was one clip for one person out there who had some very weird things to say defense of Diddy. There's also another one that I thought was really interesting, right? Big up AD. Like, what's this sort of stuff, do you reckon? What goes through someone's mind to say this? What a weird way to like interpret the situation. Big up AD. I like him from Community, but this is like is this like a low IQ take, or is this just somebody being unable to kind of like articulate their thoughts? This is in response to the whole Diddy video, beating up Cassie. To all my young niggas out there, watch everything you do. Everything good or bad will come back to the surface. Nobody ain't worth your freedom, our livelihood. What? Isn't the simple response to this, don't beat women? Domestic violence is bad. Violence against women in any way, in any scenario, it's a bad thing. What is this? What? Nobody ain't worth your freedom or your livelihood. So, huh? As if like Cassie is at fault for what Diddy did to her. She wore a short skirt. What did she expect? That's what it's giving, isn't it? She wore a short skirt. What did she expect? That's what it's fucking giving. I swear to God, because what the hell is this? Honestly, like, I'm struggling to understand. What is this? But I wonder if it's just inability to kind of articulate yourself and less to do with, oh, this person has some shit in their closet too. Because I think some of these guys also believe in, hey, if you can't get through to a woman with words, use the back of your hand. I'm sure some of these guys have that sort of opinion, you know? If she doesn't listen to you, you know, when you make reasonable, rational arguments, they're like, back of the hand thing. Because maybe say to all my young niggas out here, beating women is not a good thing. Don't beat women. Never beat a woman. Ever. Treat women with respect. If you don't love them anymore, leave. You know, like that's what it should be about. What is all this stuff? To all my young niggas out there, nah, it's all you old niggas, really, isn't it? That's it. Don't leave the young niggas alone. If the young niggas aren't here beating up their girls, don't include them in your shit. Maybe you guys should stop doing your stuff and stop projecting on the young niggas. Watch everything, and also this watch everything you do is funny because it's not correcting behavior. So what? Only do it behind closed doors because it might get filmed. Is that why? So only do the right thing because it might come back and bite you in the ass. Not because doing the right thing is the right thing. No, only do the right thing because, you know, you never know. It could fuck up your life. It's like, okay. Big up
only she can beat you off.
Exactly. Exactly. Only the woman can beat you off. Oh my God, bro. I don't know. I find that interesting. Then we got a couple more responses here. We got Bobby Schmurder. This is like that Ja Rule Dave Chappelle quote, isn't it? Let's see what Bobby Schmurder has to say about the situation. Let's hear Bobby Schmurder's nuanced, very reasonable, rational response to seeing Diddy beating Cassie black and blue in the hotel lobby. Let's see what he has to say about this.
It's enough, guys. You gotta stop beating the bitches, bro. Y'all ODing, bro. Y'all niggas is ODing, bro. Bro, y'all niggas is celebrities, bro. Let me tell you where I come from. Bro, y'all niggas is celebrities, first of all, bro. In the hood, a bitch couldn't make us hit him. No bitch can't make a nigga go crazy, bro. Y'all got bitches, pussy making y'all niggas go crazy, bro. Fuck is wrong with y'all niggas, bro? Punch on y'all niggas, y'all fucking head, bro. Y'all got bitches making y'all niggas go crazy, bro. Y'all crazy, bro. Why? I'm sorry for calling her bitch. Why in the hell would you put your hands on a female, bro? Especially when you a multi-millionaire. Fuck even if you a multi-millionaire. Point blank, period. No female should make you go crazy, bro. I've been in jail 6 years. I had girls going crazy over me. I still got my ex chasing me for fucking 2015. Bitch got twins on type shit. Get your ass out of here. You understand what I'm saying, bro? Y'all cannot make this shit is still calling. Okay. Like, I'm sorry, like this shit drives me crazy, bro. Y'all niggas is too high in statues. Niggas got nieces and nephews. I mean, nieces and daughters out here. Y'all hitting bitches. Y'all doing this on camera. These little niggas is looking up to y'all. Then they gonna start dragging y'all. And y'all females stop asking these niggas for money. Cause when y'all ask these niggas for money, they feel entitled. You understand? And y'all niggas stop giving a girl money. If a girl been on this earth 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 2 decades, 3 decades, and she ain't got shit, that means she ain't bout shit. You understand what I'm saying? So you leave that alone. You leave that alone. And y'all niggas getting y'all feelings when y'all start giving these girls money, and then y'all feel attached, and y'all putting your hands on them, y'all getting locked up. And then these little niggas is looking up to y'all that go to school, and they start putting their hands on their girlfriends. Y'all niggas is day room niggas, bro. Y'all niggas gotta stop this shit, bro, for real, bro. Like, on some real gangster shit, bro. Where they do that at?
I don't know, cuz.
Where? You tell me where they do that at. A bitch disrespect, bye. I keep so much bitches out all day. Bitch, y'all charge me something. Bitch, go. Bye. I call get out. Enough is
There were some gems in there. I'm not gonna lie. There were some gems in there, but it was so much ignorant niggery talk. It just like it cancelled it out. There were some gems in there. There was some like things you could pull out, but so much ignorant niggery talk. It's just like, what else could you say? You know? But I get the feeling there's some guys out there that are legitimately heartbroken that Diddy's been exposed to be a piece of shit. They're heartbroken. And only because he has money. That's the thing. It's because he has money and fame. They're heartbroken. Not because they thought he was a good dude, but it's because he has money. It's like, oh man. He was a bit like, it was almost as if they were living vicariously through him. Like, big up Assad.
Bobby B make that body flip, you know I don't know karate B, we Chopin bodies B, musical notes.
Oh mate, honestly. And Bobby Schmurder, I love you and stuff, but like, you know, as the Sada Z says, you know, like, come on, man, you know, come on, winner, come on. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. Anyway, and then we got this comment as well, courtesy of Cassie's husband, called Alex Fine, which is incredible, right? Imagine your next relationship after Diddy is with a dude called Alex Fine, you know, who also happens to be the complete opposite of Diddy, it looks like, right? An actual loving, devoting, doting husband. Sometimes you wonder, and maybe this is part of the, you know, part of the process. You go through some horrible, almost life-threatening situation with Diddy, and then you end up with a guy that legitimately holds you down, and you end up marrying him. You end up having 2 kids, you know, a whole family completely away from the limelight. That's one of those kind of like nice ends to a story. That doesn't happen to most people. Most people don't get a fairy tale ending. Most people die, I think. Probably the amount of domestic violence cases that end in legit fatalities are probably quite high, especially when you think about, you know, men generally are stronger than women anyway, so sometimes even the most innocuous quote-unquote abuse can probably turn into some sort of a fatal thing. But yeah, she probably thanking her lucky stars and the God above for blessing her with this guy, because Jesus Christ, this is a good person to come off the back of when it comes to Diddy, because he's been on Diddy's neck from the and this also explains why this guy's been on Diddy's neck from the main, like, before even the lawsuit came out, he was on Diddy's neck from the get-go, which makes sense because he was told this probably behind the scenes in private, you know what I mean? He was been on his neck from the get-go, so it makes sense why he did this. So he wrote a letter once this video was put out. He says, letter to women and children. Men who hit women aren't men. Men who enable it and protect those people aren't men. As men, violence against women shouldn't be inevitable. Check your brothers, your friends, and your family. Our daughters, sisters, mothers, and wives should feel protected and loved. Hold the women in your life with the utmost regard. Men who hurt women hate women. To all the survivors, find the men and women who helped them and love them. To all survivors, your stories are real and people believe you. To all survivors, you're not alone and there are men and women who care for all well-being and safety. We want you to succeed and flourish. To all the women and children, I'm sorry you live in a world where you're not protected and you don't feel equal. I want to raise my daughters in a world where they are safe and loved. To the abusers, you've done. You're not safe anymore. You're not protected anymore. The men by your side are just weak. You're so miserable yourselves that dick would be considered a weakness. So yeah, you know, nice statement from him. Very encouraging, very backing. Love all that kind of shit. And yeah, man, I guess it's just mad, isn't it? It really is mad. It's a mad situation, to be fair. I'm just curious to hear what Joe Budden has to say. Joe Budden has been riding Diddy hard. No, I would say right. No, Joe Budden has been turning a blind eye to a lot of things, refusing to speak on certain things. So I'm really curious to see what Joe Budden has to say, because he also has some shit in his jacket, innit? Joe Budden has some shit in his jacket. So I'm curious to hear what Joe Budden will have to say about the situation. How will Joe speak about Diddy's video coming out? I wonder. I really do fucking wonder. We probably won't have long to wait about that sort of stuff. Probably hear about it very soon. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what he has to say about it. I really am really curious to hear what he has to say about it. But hey, what can you do? What else we got to talk about there? We did this, we did that. Okay, let's move on to some videos, right? Let's do a little bit of act stuff. So academics, right? The academic stuff to me is interesting because on paper, or if you look at the sequence of events, it seems like the academic shit kind of started from this girl called Shay G Lizzie, or Shay Glizzy as she's constantly known on the streams, this mixed race girl from Virginia, this young lady who I think was the one that spurned this whole rape allegations anyway, because I think they were going through some sort of beef, and she's the one that kind of blew up his spot about what happened, and he had to explain himself. And then when he explained himself, the victim of the rape then got annoyed and got embarrassed and felt she was being ridiculed and flipping, you know, victim shamed or victim blamed, and then decided to come out and set the record straight, which then obviously led to where we're at the moment. So I think the genesis of the issue obviously was Ack, if he did do what he did, but the person that spurned, that kind of lit the match, that kind of led to where it went to, was this Shay Glizzy girl. I think so. Anyway, I find it fascinating just the grip this girl seems to have on fucking Ack, and the way he seems to be unwilling to listen to his fans, especially the stream chat, telling him that she's bad news, because she's legitimately caused so many issues for him. And it's making me wonder, like, either the box must be so fire, it's just worth taking the risk for, or in general, this guy just doesn't really have much experience with women. So he's just being, like, I wouldn't say whipped, but basically whipped with this girl who's really young as well, which makes it incredibly funny, and has caused him loads of trouble, and it's probably going to lead to his downfall, but you can't see it. It's so clear to see that this woman, apart from his own obviously actions, she's definitely going to play a role in his downfall, and he doesn't seem to fucking get it. Which is the wild thing about it. So Academics' birthday was the other day, and obviously, you know, he's trying to act as normal and as unbothered as possible in light of the allegations, so he celebrated it anyway. I'm not going to play the sound because it's a copyrighted song of Drake's ratchet happy birthday, but you can see what's going on there. Shay Glizzy takes an Instagram story clip of the streaming room, I think, right, with loads of balloons and shit on the inside, celebrating Academics' birthday. You know, LEDs everywhere, loads of stars and balloons, and yeah, I don't know. The amount of money he's given her over the years, I would expect it a bit more effort. I'm not gonna lie. Just having random balloons everywhere, maybe he liked it, but all the money he's given her over the years, the money she's stolen as well, I don't know. I expect a bit more, you know? Put a bit more effort in, but maybe just girls find it difficult, especially when somebody's already a millionaire. How do you make their day feel special? I don't know, whatever. Then there's a clip of them at a concert. It looks like a Drake concert. I don't know if Drake is still on tour, but whoever's on tour, they're going to go see them at a live show, and Academics is there. I love how Academics is acting like, I love how he's almost acting like the shy baddie in these clips. He's just standing there having a good time, trying to act on Boba, trying to act like he doesn't see the camera, playing up, saying the lyric like, can I? That's why we should. That's why the Fresh and Fit dudes. I don't know if they say this, the Fresh and Fit guys, because I don't know if I don't really watch a lot of their stuff in full. But do the Fresh and Fit boys just tell people, hey, just get money? Because look at how this guy's built. Look at what he looks like. Like, no offense, but if money wasn't a thing, would this be even a situation? So I wonder if those Fresh and Fit guys tell their guys, hey, forget everything else, just get money. Get money, buy yourself a Porsche, get yourself a big fat watch, and, you know, you could do what you want, basically. I wonder if that's the message they push out there. Or if they're trying to lie like they got game. Are they trying to lie that they have riz, like they can talk to women like naturally, like they don't need to flaunt their money, they don't need to like, you know, they don't need to flip in what's the thing called, manipulate or like neg and stuff. I wonder if they say that, because the real advice they should be giving out is what Ak did, isn't it? Ak just got famous. Ak worked really hard. He became famous. He became well known. He became noteworthy, right? Enough that, you know, he'd have girls chasing him and wanting his attention, you know, whatever it may be. But what do I know? There's academics having a good time at the concert. They're having a good time together. Look at that. They're so high up in it. Jesus Christ, bro. Literal nosebleeds. Or maybe that's VIP area. I don't really know. Either way, they're very, very, very high up. Oh, maybe it's not nosebleeds. Maybe it's a VIP because the seats look very comfortable. You keep trying to act like he's not. He doesn't see what's going on. Academics. This girl is fucking a nightmare. She's causing him so much pain he can't see it. I love. Oh, he's sleeping in a concert, of course. The classic. He's not on stream, so he's not entertained. He's tired. He's going to sleep. Oh, it's a Travis Scott show. They're in the Uber. Look at Adam turning away from the camera. He doesn't want to look at the camera too tough. I guess they're in Vegas somewhere. It looks like that might be Vegas. In the back seat of a Uber X. Look at academics with the grills on. He's such a nerd. Oh my god. Straddling him on the balcony of some hotel somewhere. He's on his phone, of course. Great. Love it. He's streaming. Kinda. Happy. He's gonna get her pregnant, isn't it? He's gonna get her pregnant for sure. They're gonna have babies. And she's gonna run his pockets, mate. She's gonna run his pockets. Yeah, I guess some love twisting of the ear. Yeah, some love things, isn't it? Yeah, love things, love things. Out there somewhere nice, clear water, looks fucking beautiful, having a good time. Oh, mate. The funny thing about this is that I don't think guys could do it the other way around. Women have to be applauded for this, though. I don't think guys could do it the other way around. I don't think a guy could like be with somebody that they're not attracted to just for the. You know what I mean? I don't think a guy could do it. Women can, though. Women can do that very easily. They can kind of, you know, which makes sense, innit? Especially if you want someone to provide and look after you. It makes sense why you could do that. But they have to be applauded for being able to do that because, oof, that gut on top of you, that face near you, it's a lot, innit? It's a lot. The little tiny dreads. Big up him though, innit? I guess if he's happy, I guess it's all right. But this woman, and I also like the fact that she's so young, but she's causing him so much of a headache. That's what it makes me think, like, wow, bro, like you're getting absolutely like ran ragged by this 22-year-old. Like that's what makes it so much funny because he loves to. And the thing about Ak as well, he loves to talk about people's relationships. He's big on like commenting on everyone else's relationship, what they did right, what they did wrong. But then the moment it comes to his and you speak about it, oh, you're parasocial. You're parasocial. You're doing too much. That's my problem. I'm not sad, bruh. Big up.
Hear me at Oz. AK is Black Beer Kreischer. Alcoholic, fat, annoying, rich, lol cow. This might be a stretch, but I think I could find more comparisons.
I say yes, but no, because I think Akka's definitely. Listen, my theory. I think Akka's worked harder than Bert Kreischer. And I think Akka's have to overcome more. Because Ak on paper is like a bit of a lame and a bit of a nerd and a square and a civilian. He's had to, like, especially with how, you know, hyper masculine, alpha, gangster, all that sort of shit in hip hop industry, especially in America. Academics has had to overcome a lot to get in and to make his mark, because that's the good thing about Academics you have to say about him. Only recently has he's tried to do the whole like big act thing, but for the most part he's never been shy to say, I'm a civilian, I'll call the police, all this sort of shit. I think he might have been the person to kind of popularize or make that phrase okay to say in public, especially on air. I feel a lot of people would always pretend like they would be, I will hold shit down, I would never squeal, I would never snitch. But I think Ak was the first person to say, no, like, I'm not involved. If you do a crime around me, I'm going to call the police, or if they ask me, I'm going to tell. So I think him coming in and being unapologetically a civilian and also doing what he does, I think was an uphill battle. The way he made his mark in hip hop, being like a one-person blog, a one-man team for a blog, also needs to be acknowledged. So I think he's definitely worked harder and earned his stripes more than Bert, personally, in my opinion. I think he's definitely, but everything else in terms of him being fat, alcoholic for sure, because he said, I think recently, that he drinks every single day. I think he said that, right, on one stream. He said he basically drinks every single day, like every day. He basically gets through a bottle of Henny or something. So it's like, he knocks him back, but I also think he's just one of those people that is able to just handle his liquor. I couldn't drink like that every single day. I just think he's able to handle his liquor. So, if he can handle his liquor, fair. But yeah, boy, it's definitely showing. I mean, it's definitely showing. But I predict, it's not a big prediction, but most likely they'll end up having a kid soon. That's the most likely scenario in this situation. What else is going to happen? Do you know what I mean? That's the only way else they can go. But I do think it's bad news, personally. But, sometimes you have to let people go through what they have to go through. But I just think it's hilarious that this is what happens to him, The guy that has so much to say about other people gets into a situation where some, like, under 25-year-old is, like, got him wrapped around his fingers, or her little finger. The thing that's the craziest thing was this. So they posted Academics and his girl on Shade Room, talking about his birthday. And I was wondering, did Academics pay for this promo himself? Or did they just post him knowing that it was going to garner some very negative reaction? Because, the aunties and all the sisters on Shade Room are not fans of Academics anyway. So I wonder if they did this for like rage bait. But the comments are brutal. Look at the comments on the Shade Room post of him going out for his birthday with his girl. Dating a man that has a pending rape allegation is crazy. He doesn't even look like he has good hygiene. Literally can smell him through the phone. Girl ain't that much damn money there ain't that much damn money in the world. That's a lie, by the way. I think there's a lot of women that would put up with Academics if they knew they were gonna get, paid from it. Let's be real. He doesn't even look that fun to be around. Proof that females will hump a frog if it got money. True. That's what I'm saying though. I don't think men, that's what I think women deserve credit for that. I don't think men could. I don't think men could hump a frog if it meant they were getting paid from it. I think guys would be like disgusted with themselves. They couldn't do that. You know what I mean? They have there's a lot more stuff. Women probably don't look for, looks as much as that, I don't think so, but what do I know? 33 where? That man is at least 45. I know she be scrubbing herself off in a shower like Jada Pinkett and set it off. Dating a man that never leaves his house or basement has to be depressing. Ruby with Drewski, I get it. Any woman with Academics will never make sense to me. The time Erykah Badu told him he looks like Jerry from Tom and Jerry lives rent-free in my head. 33 though, I know what dating for money looks like when I see it. Tomato's not hard enough, boo. Dating Academics is crazy. Girl, you really like him? Like for real? You can just tell they in it for the money. He must be the money. All right, let's continue. Yo, dating a man that has a pending rape allegation. Okay, we said already. 33 where is at least 45. Let's get some more comments here. Let's see what else they're saying. She's there for the money too. She using him to get around the guys she really wants. Wait, that's how he's shaped? Should we click her profile and see how she's shaped or not? Or does that mean? Because I love when people say this sort of stuff like, that's how she's shaped. No, how are you shaped? Let's see how you're shaped for a minute, please. Let's take a look and see how you're shaped. Because people have a lot to say about shape shit, but then get out and just be, I don't know, I can't really see from here, but hey, whatever. Girl, he going to jail. All these men gotta do is have a little money and all morals go out the window. She don't like him. He don't even look happy. Is it his birthday or hers? Yes, girl, get his money. I know a money play when I see one. He looks exactly how he acts. I don't know what that means, but that sounds offensive. I'll wait for her to go on live and tell us her story when she curses her out and throws a temper tantrum like the kid he is. Ugh, money is one hell of a drug. She booed up with his money, not him. She gotta be around him to get it. Ain't no way you like him for real. Look at all the females in the comments hating. Oh, mate. Can you imagine what's going on here? Can you imagine? Please, can you imagine? He got to be at least 43. Why these black women hating? Do he ever stand up? These girls literally don't care about these men. It's wild to me that they don't care about him. I was for sure he had a boyfriend, but okay. Ain't enough money in the world to date this man. 33 going on 54. But you get the gist, right? The Shade Room do not like him at all. So I'm wondering, if he paid for this promo, this is probably the worst use of money ever, because he's getting destroyed on here, man. And this has to hurt the ego a little bit, because you can have all this money, but if everyone's kind of looking at you like you're a mark, because, you know, whatever, he probably doesn't care about the fat comments. That's probably water for ducks back. But people making it out like, you know, you're a bit of a lick is a bit crazy. Even though you are, technically, because, you know, this girl has shown her true colors to a certain extent in various occasions. Whew. Yeah. Look how small her face is compared to his. It's mad, isn't it? He's got a tight. Look how wide his face is compared to hers. Oh, academics, bro. Just lay off the fucking alcohol a little bit, bro. Just a little bit, because I'm sure that's not helping. He's probably got a naturally wide face anyway, but that's not helping with the Jerry, you know, fucking meme that Erykah Badu kind of placed on him. But yeah, they seem happy. They seem to be okay with it. So I guess it is what it is. Godspeed to them. I predict a baby soon. Personally, I predict she's going to get pregnant soon, and that's going to be another interesting arc to witness on from afar. Academics trying to manage having a kid. Can you imagine that? Goddamn. Let's move on now. Let's play, or let's put a clip on. Let's do, what do you do? Let's do this one. No, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's play this clip. So no, let's do this. I keep changing my mind. Let's do this one. So this is a post courtesy of the Fire and the Kids sub. This I think was very interesting, because again, trying to highlight when it all went wrong for Bappa. I still need to do that video. I've said I'm gonna do it plenty of times, but I need to do it. Or I need to kind of make a video where I kind of track where it went downhill for him. And I think this might be a good example of kind of the issue of when it decided to go a bit downhill. So I've got this up on the screen, as you can see. It's a screenshot of some videos from 2016 to 2020 of when things were sweet for Bappa. Things were fucking sweet, right? Look at this fucking clip. So you've got a clip here. Brendan Schaub is on UFC on Fox, right? Appearance, doing an interview, talking head shit. You see another appearance here. Brendan Schaub on the Grammys red carpet, right? Doing the Grammys after show red carpet shit. So it's big gigs. Good looks for him. Another one on the Rich Eisen show. Another one on the Daily Mail, right? Another one on Comedy Central. So he was living it up, having a good time, having a blast. And I think this is around the time where I would say that he legitimately was in that vein, or in that kind of lane where he was trying to be like, trying to make the best out of being the jock guy, right? Trying to make the best of being the kind of meathead dude who everybody kind of loved, the kind of guy you grew up with in your area, or you went to play in the same school. I mean, that was all kind of good, but I think for some reason that wasn't enough for him. I think that was the main issue, because I think around that period he was okay, but for whatever reason, himself internally, he wanted a bit more. He wanted to be maybe looked at a bit more seriously, maybe he was looking at Rogan too much. I'm thinking he could be the next Rogan. Whatever happened, he really didn't understand how he was perceived, and probably thought he could do way more than he probably could. Because I don't think there's anything wrong, and I've said this plenty of times, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a one-trick pony or having a lane and sticking to it, or just doubling down on your strengths. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think this idea that everybody can be a multi-hyphenate is a little bit insulting to multi-hyphenate and to real people with, you know, multidisciplinary talents. I think those people need to exist on their own, you know, in their own space, in their own rare air. And I think everyone else needs to just figure out what they do best and just double down on it. I think the moment Brendan tried to like think of himself as like this all around, you know, entertainment Swiss Army knife guy that could do all things, could speak on all things, he went left for him very, very quickly. If I was him personally, what I would have probably done around that sort of time was just double down on the fight too. Because I think there's a point in time too, if you remember, I don't know if you remember watching it, but there was a point in time in the Friday the Kid where Brendan kind of almost refused to talk about fights outside of like Shorb Show below the belt. It was almost like beneath him. Nah, I don't want to be the fight guy anymore. Always about fight. Always like, bro, you're never going to, that's nothing you can kind of shake or get away from, because that's a big part of your story and part of the reason why everybody kind of knows you. And also, why wouldn't you want to be the ex-fighter that can speak on fights now from a kind of, you know, a relaxed point of view? Why wouldn't you want to be that person? I don't understand it. He didn't want to be that person. Cool, understandable. So it all kind of changed. But I think if you would have stuck to talking about fights, I think also, this is a very controversial opinion, but I think if you would have maybe looked at pursuing talking about reality TV show stuff, that would have been good too. I know a lot of people clown him on it, but I think there's a big audience of people who love trash TV, who love, you know, reality TV. I think they would have all been eager and game to see him talk about stuff, especially from his perspective being a straight male. It would have been pretty good to see him kind of talk about that. I honestly do think that would have worked out pretty well for him. But the fact that he tried to do too much, obviously went over, obviously ended up in failure, and then, you know, no ability to have any sort of, you know, introspection, no ability to self-edit, no ability to kind of realize where things were going wrong, and then, you know, whatever, probably not even realize anything was wrong in the first place. He probably thought he could just keep doing, you know, the bare minimum and it'll be okay, and of course it ended up being the way it ended up. So no surprise really, but it is quite wild to see that all of these places that Brendan was on, he's never going to be on there ever again. Think about it. When's he ever going to get, I don't think Comedy Central is even around anymore, but if it's still in business, is he ever going to be on Comedy Central? Probably not. Is he ever going to be on UFC and Fox? Probably not, because it's on ESPN now, right? But anyway, he's not going to be on there. Is he ever going to be on Daily Mail? Probably, but for a bad reason, you'd imagine. Is he ever going to be on E! News again? Probably, but for a bad reason. Rich Eisen? Probably not. Because I'm sure most likely he tried to probably get Rich. He probably tried to do the same spots he did previously to promote Gringo Pappy. But if you realize, he didn't really get them all, you know? Obviously, you got the big ones at Rogan, but he probably tried to do the same things he did before, but he probably didn't get the answers he wanted, or he didn't get any reply. So he went to show that his star power was already waning. So, oof, God almighty. And again, I don't really know what's better, like, to know what your lane is and stick with it, or to be like Brendan and try things and think you're bigger than what you are and come crashing down the way he did. Like, what's better? Experience all these highs that you probably didn't deserve to have. Like, you know, I would argue, to be really critical, he didn't deserve any of this stuff. Zero. He didn't earn a single one of these positions or one of these slots or one of these coverages, places. He just got this all off the back of being associated with Rogan, and having a popular podcast, but nothing because he was actually the right man for the job, you know, except for maybe the E thing, because he was, you know, he clearly is passionate about celebrity stuff. He watches a lot of it. So I think he probably could have done, but again, the Grammys, doesn't know anything about music. Not really, you know, that's another thing. If it was an E kind of like thing about celebrity TV, fair enough, but an E after show Grammy thing, I don't think that makes any sense. And allegedly the story goes that he pissed off Louis Vert, innit? Big up
he turned gay. Really weird.
Big up Abbott. Big up Abe. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, he turned gay. Yeah, I think that's the whole theory that he went bad when the whole like white hair, silver hair thing happened. I don't buy that personally. I think it happened a lot before that personally, but that's also a big inflection point when he started to, like, you know, he started to think he was a twink. when he started to think he was who's that guy from I don't know, some guy from a band. I forgot his fucking name. But he started to think he was when he started to think he was Adam Levine, all right? That's when he kind of went a bit shit. Yeah, when he started to think he was like a hybrid of like Adam Levine and Joe Rogan. That's when it probably went to fucking shit. Because you know for sure Adam Levine, Joe Rogan, Jared Leto, all these people were on his mood board and he was like putting his look together. And it's like, I get it, I guess. I get it. Who fucking knows? But yeah, again, I'm not sure what's better. Staying in your lane or having an epic fall off like this. Because now he couldn't, for love nor money, get any of these spots if he tried, unfortunately. But at least he's got Rogan in his back pocket, innit? At least he's got fucking Rogan in his fucking back pocket. That's the main thing. And then we've got another one here too. Look at this. Look at this picture, bro. Look at this fucking picture. Have you seen this? Look at this picture. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this picture. This is like E! News Hall of Fame shit. Look at this. He's got the abuela. Look at that. He's got the abuela eyebrows on fleek. Look at the arch. I didn't remember how badly or how aggressive he used to do his eyebrows until I saw this. I forgot about this period. I don't know why my brain self-deleted it, but I forgot he used to like get his eyebrows trimmed to that extent. Look at that. That's not been Photoshop, by the way. Look at those eyebrows. What the fuck was he thinking? Again, this is like, wanting to be a celebrity, wanting to maybe, I think he wanted to probably soften his image. He probably didn't like that he was a UFC fighter, a brute. He kept the ears, obviously, to be badass, right? Didn't get any surgery to repair the ears. But let's just echo. What echo? There's an echo, really? No one else is. Where's the echo? Hello. How's the echo? The audio ain't good, bro. I'm out. Where's the echo? Or is anyone else hearing echo? No echo. Who's hearing echo? The echo's on me. I can hear two of you. Huh. Okay. There's no echo on my side. I don't think I've got anything else on. Unless... No? Okay. I'm sorry for the echo. If there is an echo, I apologize. But I don't hear any echo on my side. Huh. No echo for me. He sounds like he's full of shorb to me. I'm not sure if you're trying to say that I'm full of Shawbiz's like body juice or something, or if I'm gargling his nuts or something, or if I'm sucking his cock or something. I don't know what that means, Stradley, but I'm assuming you're insulting me. But thank you. He sounds like he's full of shawb. Like, bloody hell, man, that's aggressive. Anyway. Full of shawb is aggressive. Anyways, so Abuela eyebrows, the red carpet ting, tune in, Monster E shit. You know how we do. Everything went to fucking shit. Golden Globes. Probably again, just not even to kind of, go on and on about it. Like, maybe just doing too much as well. Is that not possible? Is there something to be said for knowing what you're good at and just sticking to it? Is there also something to be said for maybe saying that not all dreams are meant for you? Just because someone else does it doesn't mean you should do it too. Is that not possible? Isn't it possible to be like, you know what? I know everyone else is doing it, but maybe I shouldn't do it just for the sake of it. And funny I bring that up, right? Because this is a segue to this particular topic that I wanted to talk about. Big up Shrimp, right? He's out here doing stand-up comedy. They posted this clip of him on the Fight and the Kid sub where he's doing a bit of stand-up, and he did a little bit here that I'm going to play for you, and I want you to, see what you think of the bit itself. But this is Shrimp doing some stand-up. This is one of his bits that he put up, I guess, on social media. Let's hear Shrimp do some stand-up.
Speaking of sperm, something crazy happened at my equinox the other day. 3 guys got their memberships revoked for sucking each other off in the steam room. And I guess the guy that caught him caused quite a scene. He came running out screaming for the manager. And honestly, that sounds a lot gayer to me than getting caught sucking someone off in the steam room of Equinox. Like, be an adult, grow up. Do you know how gay it is to tattletale on someone? But anyway, since I got banned from Equinox, I work at a Crunch Fitness now, so if anyone's looking for...
So, is there something to be said for sometimes being okay with not having everyone's dream be your dream? Because as maybe okay as this joke is or whatever, why is he doing stand-up? Like, why? Is it because he actually has always wanted to do it? Is it because he's suddenly got the courage to do it? Now is the right time? Has he always had the burning desire to say certain things? Have a certain point of view on stage? Spread the joy of laughter around the world? Or is he just doing this because everyone else does it? And it's an easy way to kind of get famous? Because I'm starting to think doing stand-up is like the vocal version of like DJing. Or if that makes any sense. Do you know? Like it's a form of DJing where it's like everyone does it just because it's easier to do than playing an instrument. I know that for myself. Like, would I much prefer to play piano and play guitar? Of course. Would I much prefer to be in a band? Of course. But you can't, so you DJ. That's the quickest way to kind of, you know, do those things that you can't do. And I think stand-up is one of them. If you can't act, you know, if you can't maybe direct, this is what you do.
Beans, cheese, beans, cheese,
big
beans,
up,
cheese,
big up,
beans,
big up,
cheese,
big up, big
beans,
up,
cheese,
Billy.
beans, cheese, beans, cheese, beans, cheese, beans, cheese. Brendan is a piece of shit.
I like how you got that in there. I like that piece of shit. Big up Billy Bats. I like how it pronounced piece of shit. That's actually quite funny. That's of course, but that's the thing, Nick. It didn't make you laugh, and it's a decent bit. It didn't make you laugh, but that's the whole point. Does this need to exist? Is this enough for you to develop your whole comedy career around, or should people just be allowed to do whatever they want? Just do what you want for the sake of it, just because it's fun.
Brenda gonna steal all that joke.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. It's actually funny that he can write bits like this already in his like first couple of years, and Brendan can't do it in 10. That just goes to show that Brendan was never gonna make it. But I'm just wondering, like, should he be? Does this even need to exist? That's what I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but I just think in general, it's okay to just do other things. Like, this guy's already in Hollywood. His brother's in a movie or in a TV series. Can't you like be an agent? Can't you be a manager? Can't you go and work at a production company? Can't you be a runner? Like, those jobs, they actually have some good job security, those jobs as well, you'd assume. Right? Being an integral member of a crew on the set or something, being like all that backrooms, all that, you know, behind the scenes shit. What's wrong with doing that? And then, you know, doing your podcast on the side to get that little bit of a, you know, get that bit of a hit and try and be famous that way. Do you really need to be on stage though? Really? Is that really necessary? I don't know. I just think a lot of these guys just, again, maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way, but I just see a lot like how DJing is. People just kind of get into it because, you know, it's an easy way to get, it's an easier way to get famous than all the other things because it requires a lot more work and a lot more talent, a lot more dedication, a lot more practice and shit. With this sort of stuff, you can kind of fumble your way through it, especially if you have a decent sense of humor anyway. I think for the most part, as we've seen with most podcasts out there, most stand-up comedians are terrible. You know, especially if you take into account what we see on Kill Tony as a barometer of the open mic scene, and then we take the podcast as a barometer of the professional podcast scene, there's not a lot of difference, right? They're kind of on the same level, different levels of experience or maybe, you know, confidence, but there's not a lot separating some of the podcasters that we listen to and the open micers on Kill Tony. So maybe it's very difficult to see these guys on stage raking in millions, thousands, getting driven in chauffeur-driven cars, nice cars themselves, nice houses, and not think, I could do that fucking shit. Maybe that's part of the reason. You know, like there's so many terrible. Like if you go, imagine going to see Bert Kreischer perform somewhere in some arena, and he walks out on stage, looks left and right, takes off his shirt, and the crowd goes bonkers. Imagine how you're gonna feel if you've got a slight funny bone in your body. You hear him talk about how his daughter's, you hear him talk about his daughter's period again. You hear him talk about how his wife doesn't lick his ass again. Like all these fucking tired premises and jokes. You're probably sitting there if you have a bit of a funny bone in your body thinking, I could fucking do that. So maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe these podcasters who are terrible or who are average at best at comedy are actually the ones who are, spurning this whole group of people trying to do stand-up because they're seeing them thinking, hold on, Joe Rogan has a podcast worth how much? Huh? Joe Rogan's meant to be super funny. What? They can't figure it out. And they're like, nah, I need to get some of that shit. Maybe that's part of it. But, he did well. Don't get me wrong. Decent enough joke. But I just don't know if it's like necessary that it needs to exist. Why are you doing this? Are you just doing this because you want? Are you doing it because you want to do it, or because everyone else is doing it? And if you're doing it because everyone else is doing it, is that really the right way to go about doing things? Or maybe that's how you find out what you want to do. Maybe you only find out what you want to do when everyone else does it. Maybe. I don't know. But either way, I'd prefer it if we lived in a world where people could do other things outside of the obvious, especially when it comes to comedy scene. I just think, it's just too crowded in there. Why not work in a club? Why not try and be a manager of a club, a booker at a club, or whatever? All those things are great because those clubs aren't going away. Comedy fucking stand-ups are not going away anytime soon either. Why not just do that instead? But they don't, so fair enough. They don't, so fair enough. We kind of have to get involved with what this guy does. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, moving on from that one, let's also talk a little bit about where's that clip? Yeah, cool. Let's do this one. So, as you guys know, Ronda Rousey has been promoting her book, her new memoir that just dropped, right? And she included a section which is basically 2 paragraphs where she doesn't even mention Brendan by name, but you get, it's easy to work out it was Brendan because Brendan was her only boyfriend before Travis, I'm assuming, right? Especially public one. So it's pretty obvious to know that she was definitely talking about Brendan. But she doesn't really even mention him by name. It's just 2 paragraphs of an entire book, but it's kind of lit Brendan's world on fire. But essentially, in this book section, she basically details how an ex of hers was a bit of a jackass. I think the mind games thing is just a code word for being a bit of a dick. I don't know how you guys read it, but I don't think the mind games was like Brendan actually playing mind games. I just think Brendan was a bit of a dick and a shitty boyfriend, which is obviously understandable. Knowing how we know his personality, we can definitely see that be the case. But I thought she was also kind of clear about the whole thing, like, in a way, kind of clear. Especially if you're the boyfriend involved, you could read between the lines and see what she meant. So in the section, she said the following: Travis had been training with us for a while when it was announced that his first fight as an official member of our team would be against my ex-boyfriend. My ex thrived on playing fucked up mind games with me when I had a fight, coming up and insisted we hid that we were dating so he wouldn't be labeled as Ronda Rousey's boyfriend. As Travis headed into the matchup, I pretended it wasn't personal. I tried not to be overly involved or emotional. It wasn't my fight. I was hoping he would win, but I was in training camp, so I didn't really think too much more about it. That is until it was on live TV, and I lost my goddamn mind, screaming at the top of my lungs, "Get him, Travis," while punching the arm of the person on the couch next to me. When Travis knocked him out at the end of the first round, I didn't think it could get any more gratifying. My ex covered up on the ground while Travis pounded away on him. The referee waved the match over, then Travis, towering over the crumpled, semi-conscious body of my ex, leaned down and whispered something in his ear. His words were indiscernible to the camera, but I swear I could hear Travis say, "Ronda says fuck you." So, if you're the ex-boyfriend, you should know what she's getting at. But I don't think the mind games thing was like, I wasn't super malicious, but it's pretty clear that, in my opinion, that Brendan was a shitty boyfriend. Even the thing here, even just this briefing that she mentioned about every time her fight would come up, Brennan would try to tell her not to be bait about their relationship so that he wouldn't be classed as Ronda Rousey's boyfriend, which is weird because at that time, Ronda was the most famous UFC fighter in the fucking world. Legitimately. She was the most famous. She was out there doing fucking bits, pulling numbers out. She basically legitimized the women's division in UFC. She made it like so, especially nowadays, guys don't really, you know, they watch it all. They don't skip past the fucking women fights. They watch them all. So I think she was the reason for it. So for Brendan to think being regarded as Ronda Rousey's boyfriend was demeaning or almost kind of diminished him was weird because she was more famous than him. But again, it shows that the guy has always been Delulu. This is what we've seen so far with this segment. Is that Brendan has always been Delulu, and he's always been the way we kind of see him to be, especially the ones that kind of hate watch his content. Anyway, that's what happened, right? So Brendan then decided to reply on the recent episode of The Fight and the Kid, and this is the reply that we're going to react to together because I haven't actually seen this whole thing, but I clipped most of the segment which I think is in, but I haven't actually heard what he said in detail. So we're going to react to it together and see what we think about some of the stuff that Brendan's had to say regarding Ronda Rousey's comments in her book. Let's see how he replies to this because he's definitely seen it, he's definitely read it, he knows what was said. Let's see what he says about it. Let's see if he tries to feign ignorance or tries to purposely misinterpret it or something, right? Let's see. Or Brian maybe tries to, that's another thing too, maybe Brian tries to talk for him because that's what happens in a lot of these things. Brendan gets called out in public and then Brian steps in front, right? Steps in front. Like, let's see.
Here's a quick video on them real quick.
Like, I have a bunch of people, when I posted my take on it from the shop show, people are like, dude, I had no idea that's happened this weekend. Like, that's not good.
All right, here's a quick video.
I read mind games as making her feel insignificant when the attention should have been on her. That's a very real thing Brandon does. The ego is wild.
I read mind games as Brendan making her feel insignificant when the attention should have been on her. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if I read that. Because again, I'm only taking that one example that she made because she used that as the first example about when it's her fight, don't make it obvious that we're together type of thing. Yeah, maybe that is just mind games, isn't it? I guess it's mind games. I guess that is mind game. But I'm just saying more so in the thing that I don't think Brendan was trying to play mind games. I honestly think he thinks these things. So he legitimately was annoyed that people were referring to him as Ronda Rousey's boyfriend. And he would, because you'd imagine before a fighter doesn't want to have any distractions, right? I'm assuming their family also know when your partner's in fight camp mode, you almost try to, what's that thing called? You almost try to protect them from any drama. You try and keep it away, even if it's something that they should know about. You try to basically keep it close to your chest. You don't want to, you kind of let them focus on the fight. But maybe in this case, Brendan is such a numpty, he thinks it's more important for him to get his feeling across and to let her know how her fame is negatively affecting him in that time that she's trying to prepare for a fight. That's obviously a fucked up thing to do, but I don't think he's doing it. Honestly, I don't think he's doing it to play mind games. I just think he's so self-centered that but I guess that's mind games, isn't it? What am I talking about? That is obviously mind games. He's so self-centered that his own needs in that moment trump hers, even though she should be the priority in that moment because it's her fucking fights that's coming up. And she needs to have a full focus on that, not worrying about her fucking marital relationship situation at home. But yeah. And also, I think a lot of it too, him as well, I think he has a thing, like, because I think he always mentioned, didn't even mention before that, she wasn't girly enough. It's like, Ronda Rousey has always been a bit of a tomboy. I don't know about you, I've never seen a picture of Ronda Rousey where I didn't see a tomboy. So I don't know what he was thinking, because allegedly I think there's a segment somewhere where I think she said something like, no, I think he mentions it in other when they broke up. Actually, he even mentioned it that she, he was too much of a man for her. She wasn't. I don't know. I just don't understand that psychology as well. It's like, bro, like she's exactly who she says she is on the. Like, I don't know. Whatever. Let's play the video. Big up Assad. It's a good point actually. Maybe it is mind games. I've explained it the word I went around the long way, but basically it is mind games. What he basically did. I just don't think he's clever enough to do mind. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I just think he's a bit redacted personally. But hey, I think we're both right in this case.
Of them meeting each other in Riyadh.
Alexander Usyk, I choose you. Get over here. Come on. Come on. Give me a hug, brother. I'll give you a hug me.
Oh, Usyk ain't having it.
So he's playing along there, but I mean, as a fighter, what Tyson's
I don't
doing,
like that stuff. For certain fighters that do this, I know a fighter that do this to try and lower your guard, so
So he's being super charming.
Yeah, but that's Tyson. Like he does that with he did that with Wilder too.
Because those guys are all kind of like they don't know really what to make of this.
Yeah,
Usyk was like, okay.
You know, in Russian and Ukrainian culture, just smiling is not done.
Oh, really, Brian? How much experience of Russian and Ukrainian culture do you have outside of watching videos of like stuff online that we've all seen? How do you know that's the case? Honestly, this guy, bro, like international school was wasted on him.
You look stupid, so you don't just smile. You're going to be like, thank you.
Yeah, I heard if you smile in Russia, they think you're gay.
Hey, yo, big up NJ Ranger. Big up NJ Ranger. Good fucking point. He was smart enough to do the whole cast media work, wasn't he? Very good point. He pulled the wool over everyone's eyes on that one, right? He definitely wasn't dumb enough for that. He definitely figured out how to get the most out of that thing and then fucked over Theo. He got his stuff and was like, yeah, at least I got mine. Well, I got mine. I got my stuff. I got my millions. I ain't sure about you guys, but you brought us in. You brought us in. How you gonna just like run away with a bag? You brought us in. We all got scammed. Well, I got mine. I got my million. Fucking hell.
Well, they just think the idea in Russian culture is when you smile, you're a dumbit, you're a dullard. So if you're like this, hi, how are you?
That makes sense.
That's why when you meet them, they're like this,
straight face.
All right.
Yeah, Usyk was not having it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peace out, Assad. Peace out. Take care, brother. Take care. Yeah, it's not. Again, with these streams, it's not about anybody being right or wrong. Like we're trying to fucking make sense of a redact anyway. That's the wrong thing, you know. It's just redacted shit. We're trying to make sense out of it because we don't get it, but it's just redacted shit. You know, none of us are. We're all in the wrong because we're trying to make sense out of a legit double-digit IQ person, maybe single-digit IQ person who legitimately has like failed upwards. It doesn't make sense because it shouldn't make sense, but it's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to watch.
Smiling is just considered really like for dum-dums. You rarely see Putin smile. Rarely.
Do you see anything on Usyk Fury Chin? Like any hype?
No, not at all.
Like there's no hashtag like trending, nothing. I tried like.
Big up Wuhan Institute of Virology. Brian was born in the Philippines, then lived around the parts of Asia, North Africa, and Europe. His first time in the US, he was like 15 years old. You know what? You know what's interesting? You know what's funny? Sorry. That's a very interesting background. But none of that is mirrored in him. As a person, as a podcaster, as a comedian. Because those are all incredible experiences. Like, that's what you should be doing for your kids. Giving them those incredible experiences where you're moving around the world, they're meeting different people, different cultures, learning different languages, whatever. But none of that is on show, on evidence, anywhere in what he does. The way he carries him, none of it. Zero. We don't see any of that on, like, we just hear him talk about how he wants to be a certain type of man on stage, like, on podcasts. What do we hear him do? Really, like, he's not that interesting, not that fun, not that like, it's just kind of dead. It's really interesting, isn't it? Like, it's just like, huh? Like, you never, like, if you didn't know what Wuhan Institute of Biology said, if you didn't know that, you would never guess he went through that. Looking at him, you would never guess. Or hearing what he says, hearing his worldviews, you'd never guess. Just your standard dude, just talking out of his ass. But actually, he's lived a quote-unquote interesting life. because of his parents and his jobs and the jobs that they had. It's helped them move around the world. But none of that is, you know, something that you see on the content at all. Kind of interesting.
It's really, really
That's
weird.
the only video I saw recently, so yeah, not much at all. But I saw something brand new that popped up today all over the place on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere.
Oh, I love this. This is always the point. You know what? Body language, I'm not a body language expert, but all this type of stuff is a key, in it. This pretending to be unbothered. Like, you know, like yawning, stretching. You know what's happening, the subject, and like acting as if like this is no big deal. Like making it out to be like, oh, like this is definitely a body language tell when somebody knows they're guilty. You're trying to act like you didn't do anything, and it's not that. You haven't really been thinking about it. You're just acting the way you would have before. I don't know. I just find it funny.
What do we got?
So Ronda Rousey, apparently you're in her new memoir.
Again?
Yeah, I'll just show you this article.
By the way, he said again. Keep that in mind. He just said again. Just keep that in mind for later. He said again. I'm in a new memoir.
Here.
I don't know.
Of playing fucked up mind games.
That's the title. Yeah, I didn't read the book, so I don't know. But it says, yeah,
The
Ronda
book
Rousey.
just came out, or this is old?
No, this is new.
This is a new one.
It literally started popping up today. I saw it.
Hey, yo, big up Cable Hogue. Okay, is that Cable Hogue? Travel doesn't necessarily improve the mind or your horizons. Not necessarily, but it should. That's what people travel for. You usually do that to expand your mind and your horizons, to kind of maybe see new things, experience new things, talk to different people. Like, that's usually why you do it. You know, I know some people just do it just to kind of get hot and get a tan and hang out. Cool. But especially when you're traveling to those type of places around the world, you know, there's a lot of rich culture there, different, I don't know. But again, maybe as well, maybe there is also a way of doing that where you don't experience things, especially if you like go to private school, you get chauffeured from your parents' home to the private school, back and forth. The private school also is English speaking for the most part. You speak English at home. You don't really go out and kind of, you know, integrate yourself with the local community. It's pretty easy to just go to places in and out, go to a villa, come back, go to a villa, come back. I understand, but I think in general it should inform your life. It should kind of leave an impression on you that you then want to share with the world, whatever it is. I know it's a bit naff to say it, I get it, but for me, that's what traveling should be about. And you know, I guess he wasn't really traveling. He was mostly moving around with his parents, especially his dad, who might have been an undercover CIA agent, who knows. But I think he was working for some major bank, I think a Middle Eastern one, I forgot. No, I think it's Citibank actually, was it? I forgot. Don't matter. He's working for a big bank. So I guess that's why they were moving around. And I think the dad was like a Middle East person, correspondent, you know, go-to person, whatever. But hey, it didn't really impact him in any way. It is what it is, you know. It's not a slight. It's just you should be traveling to expand your mind and your horizons. If you don't, fair play.
So I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but
she doesn't look like she's aged a minute.
No.
Look at that.
She looks great.
Her mom
God.
has great genetics too, though.
Jeez, she looks fantastic.
I don't think Brendan wanted to compliment her. Obviously, Brian, the first bucket, had to say something about what she looks like, but I don't think Brendan was too pleased about that being the first thing they said.
Anyway,
There's a couple of quotes.
My ex thrived on playing fucked up mind games with me when I had a fight coming up.
No, actually, big up Will Lopez. Hold on. Did Chin say I didn't read it because he doesn't read? No, I think he said it because he didn't want to sound like he was co-signing what Ronda Rousey said. So, I didn't read it, Brendan. I didn't read it. Like, he's more scared about what Brendan would think. I don't think because he doesn't read. Let's see.
I tried looking for.
It's really, really weird.
that's the only video I saw recently, so yeah, not much at all. But I saw something brand new that popped up today all over the place on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere.
What do we got?
So Ronda Rousey, apparently you're in her new memoir.
Again?
Yeah, I'll just show you this
you in
article
the first
here.
one?
I don't know.
You see that, by the way? He says again, and Brian says, were you in the first one? I don't know. Yeah, you do know. So he's saying again because he knows he was in the first one. That's why he's saying it. So I love the instant lie. I love it. Right on cue lie.
Of playing fucked up mind games.
That's the title. Yeah, I didn't read the book, so I don't know. But it says
Yes, I think he says, obviously I didn't read a book. Oh, I get it what you mean. He said, obviously I didn't read a book. That's a weird sentence, isn't it? It's obviously I didn't read a book, like I can't read. Obviously I didn't read the book. Or is he saying, obviously I didn't read the book. Please, Brenda, don't fire me. I still need my MacBook, please. I still need my MacBook, please. Maybe that's what he means. Good point. Maybe that's what he's actually scared. Obviously I didn't read it. I can't read.
Says, yeah,
the book
Ronda Rousey-
just came out, or this is old?
No, this is new.
This is a new one.
It literally started popping up today.
How the
I
hell
saw a
am I in a
bunch.
new
So I don't know if
She
you want to
looks
talk
great
about
in
this
that
or not,
picture.
but
She doesn't look like she's aged a minute.
No.
Look at that.
She looks great.
Her mom
God.
has great genetics too, though.
Jesus, she looks fantastic.
anyway.
There's a couple of quotes.
By the way, again, this is so lame because I noticed these things because I've been watching this guy for a long time. But Brendan has this tell when he feels kind of uncomfortable. He has this thing where he does this thing with his lip, like a little side thing. Like, look, it's a little tell when he's like raging. You saw it sometimes in the Bobby Lee Kalila interview when they were grilling him.
Mom has great genetics too, though.
Jesus, she looks fantastic.
That little side thing that he did. That little side thing is a tell when he's furious.
But
She doesn't look like she's aged a minute.
No.
Look at that.
She looks great.
Her mom
God.
has great genetics too, though.
Jesus, she looks fantastic.
anyway.
There's a couple of quotes.
My ex thrived on playing fucked up mind games with me when I had a fight coming up, and instead we hide that we were dating so he wouldn't be labeled Ronda Rousey's boyfriend.
Hold on. By mind games, I mean maybe going MIA, like just not.
As Travis headed into the match,
Bro, that's a bad mind game. If your partner has a really big UFC fight up and you just ghost her, that, especially if that's your girlfriend, that isn't a good thing. That's not just like expected. Like MIA, like is that okay? Just to go MIA on somebody when they've got a big fight coming up. I love it.
I pretended it wasn't personal. Then that is until it was on live TV and I lost my goddamn mind, screaming at the top of my lungs, "Get him, Travis," while punching the arm of the person on the couch next to me.
Yo, big up young Felipe. Yeah, you're right. Probably he meant that. And I might have to agree with you. I probably will read it just for the sake of it, just to kind of put some content up. But she does sound great. Have you heard her speak on pods lately? Oof, that's definitely CTE, man. It's tough. Big up Ronda Rousey. Big up QT.
They are trying to make a boxing match with him and Travis Brown. Ronda is in on it.
You think so? You think this is the play? Who wants to see that though? I know we would love to see, Brendan get back in the ring, but who wants to really see? Does anybody even know who Travis Brown is? Weirdly enough, Brendan's probably more famous than Travis Brown. Like, do people actually know who he is outside of like hardcore UFC people? I don't know. But yeah, that's a good theory. Is this all a play? A rollout for a fight coming up soon? Create fake tension? But also, what's the angle? Brendan trying to what? Get her back? Brendan trying to get revenge for the UFC fight? It's like, you were fought by a better fighter who basically retired you. What else can you do? I don't know. He's not going to win she's not going to win if he couldn't win, he's not. I don't know. Interesting theory, but I'm dubious on that one. Big up QT.
That's fair.
How's this news in a book?
That's fair. Oh, I love how him and Brian are not on the same page. Brian's reaction to it is proof that what Ronda said was probably true. That sounds like Brendan. And he's like being defensive, which is understandable too because he's being called out. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd be.
I mean, it just started popping up like crazy today.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't the book come out like a month ago though?
I don't even know, dude. To be honest.
How's this news?
No, let's not do that. Let's not try and discredit the section coming out because you don't like what it says. Let's maybe address what she said. Again, I find it funny so far we've not heard him actually address her accusations against him or allegations, and also I love how he immediately knew it was him, like, oh, it's no one else, it has to be me, of course it's you, but you're not really named in it. But anyway,
Who we date? 14, 13 years ago?
When Travis knocked him out at the end of the first round, I didn't think.
TKO, to be fair.
Yeah, that was true. That's true. It was TKO.
Ground and pound.
Yeah.
Okay, first lie. Keep going.
Yeah. I didn't think it'd get any more gratifying. My ex covered up on the ground while Travis pounded away on him. The referee waved the match over. Then Travis towering over the crumpled, semi-conscious body of
it
my
wasn't
ex.
unconscious and also wasn't crumpled. I was in downward dog, okay?
You were on your tummy. It was a dominant position. You were dominated by the bearded Viking.
Hold on, but no one's saying that. I was not crumpled and semi-conscious.
Nope.
Yeah, I was fully conscious.
He leaned down and whispered.
Oh yeah, he still argues against that, by the way. And big up Ryan Harley. Ryan Harty. Travis Brown would have been champion if he didn't blow out his ACL. He was really good. I liked him too. He had a really good style, but I just don't think name wise, unless you're balls deep in MMA, would you know who Travis Brown is? Regular people that don't really pay too much attention to it. I don't know. Maybe he does have some really good wins under his belt, really good performances. But for me, and just looking at it from a general casual point of view, I think that'd be a hard fight to sell. Especially with the angle of what him being Ronda Rousey. I don't know. I don't get the angle. What's he trying to do? Win her love back? Get his revenge on a fight that happened, where he was clearly outclassed in the UFC fight. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Sucks that he had to fucking basically retire in it from the UFC. But yeah, he was good. You're right.
Whispered something in his ear. His words were indiscernible to the camera, but I swore.
Oh, by the way, I love how Brendan keeps arguing that. I think even after the fight, he was really annoyed that the referee stopped it because he said he was still conscious. He was telling the referee not to stop it. He's like, bro, you weren't going anywhere. You were flat out on your belly. He was on top of you in dominant position, banging the back of your head. It wasn't going to go anywhere. And I think at the time of it happened, there was still like a minute or something left of the round. You know what I mean? It wasn't looking good for the guy. And I don't think Brendan was the best off his back anyway as well, so...
I swore I could hear Travis's voice saying, Ronda says, fuck you. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Ron!
Oh, he had to laugh, innit? He can't. Okay, bring up Brian. I think Brian's getting his own back here because Brendan didn't like that, but you had to laugh because, he's laughing. I think this is a little bit of revenge from Brian. He's just laughing about this thing, and Brendan has to laugh, but he's not happy about the laughing.
That never happened.
No?
No.
But he did whisper in your ear. I don't know what he said, but I remember him looking there, whispering.
I love how he doesn't clear up what he said. If he didn't say that to you, what did he say then, Brendan? Could you tell us? Because the only people that would have heard what he said clearly is Brendan and Travis Brown. Maybe Travis Brown told Ronda Rousey after the fight what he said to him. But also, maybe adrenaline's running. He probably didn't remember. I don't know. Maybe it was in the heat at the moment. But I like how he doesn't clarify what he actually said.
And I don't think you could hear it. I don't know what happened, but...
yeah, I don't think he said Ron says fuck you.
Didn't he come to your dressing room and say, I'm glad you're okay?
In the back, yeah.
Yeah, he said, I'm glad you're all right.
Yeah,
I'm glad,
he's cool. Yeah, I have no issues with him.
No, he's cool.
How's this news?
It says it was shipped April 2nd.
Because it's a new book and you're a prominent, unfortunately, podcaster and UFC proponent. You were one of her last major boyfriends before Travis Brown. The fight also retired you. That spurned the whole UFC. I don't know why he's trying to act like this isn't like MMA. Obviously, they talk about anything. They talk about everything. Like, come on, why is he surprised that these people are talking about this? Can we address what she said apart from trying to discredit the book? Can we address the allegations? Do you guys think that's true? Big up Keith T. I think we caught Brendan in a lie. Travis never said that. I can't believe it. Do you think he would lie about that? Because Travis Brown could just come out and just say, I didn't say that. Why would you lie that Travis Brown came to your locker room? Because that sounds believable. I'm sure there's fighters in the octagon that'll do some super disrespectful shit, scream at you while you're on the floor unconscious, pointing at you, tell you suck your dick in the octagon. But then when you go back into the change room in the back, where it's like only the fighters and the team are there, respect for another warrior. Hey, by the way, apologies for what happened in the ring or the octagon. You know what I mean? Emotions got the better of me. happy or okay. I can see that. I can see that happening. Honestly, I can see that happening. I can see that being like, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. I can see that being a thing. If he lied about that, yo, I can't wait. I can't wait for that to be exposed. If he did lie about that interaction with Travis Brown to make himself feel better,
it was just what happened. It's her life. It's how she felt. It was the emotion she was going through. I will say this about.
I'll say. Hey, can I speak on this?
Yes.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
Ooh. Tetchy. You know what's funny about that response? Most of the time when Brendan gets called out in public, he lets Brian speak for him. So Brian's only doing what he's used to. That's his role in this relationship. In this partnership that they've got going, in this dysfunctional marriage, whenever Brendan gets called out for something, for being a douchebag, for doing some shitty thing, saying some crappy thing, Brian's the one that steps in front of the bullets, steps in front and be his fucking, you know, he's basically he's basically his human shield, right? Let's actually see. I've got, what's that human shield meme? Human shield meme with a fucking soldier. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's basically it. That's their relationship. So whenever there's an allegation, whenever something is said about fucking about Brendan, Brian's always quick to step in front. Always. That's Brian Callen. These are the allegations or things that people say, and that's Brendan lying there. You know? That's him lying right there. Yeah, big up Fashion Road, man. Yeah, of course I've seen it, man. I've seen it, man. Of course, Fashion Road, man. If you're wondering, has Agostino seen that video of Diddy doing that madness to fucking Cassie? Of course I've seen it. And this is my response. This is my response to Diddy doing a madness to Cassie. In case some of you guys are wondering, oh, Agostino, what's your response to this stuff? What do you think? What actually is going on here? I would love to know your opinion about this sort of stuff. What's the word? Please let us know. Well, this is my response, guys. Hope you are aware. This is my fucking response.
One time she was watching this show. It was like a poor excuse for The View. And they started talking about domestic violence, right? For the 9 millionth time this year, they're talking about domestic violence. Just in case, you didn't get the memo, Evidently, just some people didn't get it. It's not okay to slam your wife's head into the cupboard drawers because she didn't dry the can opener off properly, It's gonna fucking rust, right? How do you not know not to do that shit? Do they really have to keep talking about it? It's like wife beaters watching. Oh, fuck! Now I get it. Ups a daisy, sweetheart. Here we go. There you go. Oh. So at the end of the hour, they come to the logical conclusion. They're like, there is no reason to hit a woman. There is no reason to hit a woman. And I was just like, really? I could give you like 17 right off the top of my head. You could wake me from a drunken stupor, I could still give you like 9. Dude, there's plenty of reasons to hit a woman. You just don't do it. But to sit there and suggest that there's no reason. Dude, the level of ego behind that statement. What are you, levitating above the rest of us? You're never annoying? Women, how many times have you thought about slapping your fucking guy in the head this week? There you go. Every day. You didn't do it, right? Oh, dude, it drives me nuts. There's no reason. There's no reason. Really? No reason? How about this? You marry a girl, you fall in love, you buy her a house. You go to work every day, paying off the house. You come home one day, she's banging the next door neighbor, hands you divorce papers. You got to move out, sleep on a futon, and still pay for that house that she's going to stay in. No reason. I'm not saying you should do it, but there's plenty of fucking reasons in that arc of a story. No, that's the thing.
Oh, anyway. that's the response I would have if I was funny. If I was funny and I was as articulate as fucking Bill Burr was, that'd be part of my response. But my official response is DV is bad. DV is absolutely bad. But I'm really curious to see what Joe Budden says. That's what I've said before. I want to know what Joe Budden's gonna say because, Joe's got his own skeleton, his own fucking. I want to hear what Joe has to say about this stuff because, God Almighty. But anyway, let's go back to the video. Big up Fashion Room. I appreciate you, brother.
I'll say this: if I wrote this is the difference. If I wrote a book, she would not be in my book.
I like how Brendan thought that was a zinger. That was going to be the mic drop. If you had a book, you wouldn't write her in. Okay. But she put you in the book because you were a major part of her life at one point. You impacted her negatively. So she spoke about you for literally, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it like, it's 2 paragraphs. It's not even that long of a book. It's 2 paragraphs, if that, of a book where he's not even named. Right? She speaks about it because it's a part of her story. She basically calls you Ronda Rousey's ex-boyfriend. Essentially, that's what she's calling you there. So yeah, okay, don't put her in your book. That's fine, but she's gonna put you in hers because you guys had a relationship. It's perfectly normal, I think. I don't think this is out of bounds or crazy. Obviously, he's upset because it makes him look bad, but she wouldn't be in my book. It's like he thinks that's a dunk. Like, she wouldn't be in my book, bruh. What's your book gonna be? Like a pamphlet? Your book's gonna be one of those pamphlets that you get at reception at hospitals about like STIs and stuff. It's like it folds out like that. Is that what you like? What's his book gonna have? I read Rogan. I got rich. Cool. Like, what's your book gonna be about anyway? Come on, bro. It's gonna be fucking paint by numbers. That's what his book's gonna be. His book's gonna be the first memoir that includes like a paint by numbers thing. It's gonna be a picture of him, and you get to paint it at the back. Like, come on, bro.
This if I wrote this is the difference.
Yeah. Exactly. OJ, Brendan's book will be titled Joseph Rogan. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. And it will be one of those things where it's like Joseph will like spell out something like, you know, jumping over setbacks, entertaining people, like humor. Do you know what I mean? It'll be one of those type of things. Like it'll be one of those type of things. I swear to God, that's how his book will be. The Joseph Rogan mindset or something. What you call it? On it Chronicles, right? On it Chronicles. Or it'll be titled "Be the Hero of Your Own Movie." You know, that epic fucking motivational rah Brendan thing. Also, I love how the woman in Sanaz is just screaming here. Look at her body language. I love how the woman in Sanaz is screaming here. She's just sitting at hearing this dude make excuses for his abusive past, arms crossed, judging. Look at her. She's not happy. Sanaz is really the body language is screaming here. She's like, what? She would not be in my book. Like, she's like, what the fuck is this nigga even talking about, man? Anyway, let's continue.
If I wrote a book, she would not be in my book. Like that. Like that's not a. That's not like a.
Also, he's probably not allowed to talk about her. Knowing how Hispanic women are, right? Women from that kind of part of the world, they're usually very possessive and very jealous, right? Very hot-blooded. He's probably not allowed to talk about her anyway. So it's not as if like if he could, he would. But he's probably not allowed to write about her in his book. Like, if he did put one out, he's probably not allowed to.
An event in my life that I would put in a book.
Well, I think you always said, I've never heard you say anything but really great things about her.
Love her. Have no issues with Travis.
I think that's important.
I think now the way the media.
Brendan saying I love somebody and it doesn't mean anything. he tried to say him and Bobby were still friends after he fucked him over and tried to fuck his girl. It's like, I wish I could say the same thing, right? Epic reply back. Brendan saying he loves somebody, great guy, doesn't mean anything. It's just empty words.
Treats her, I think, is not fair, but some of it's justified by the way she treated the media and,
Wow. So if it's justifiable how the media treats Ronda, is it justifiable how the YouTubers treat you?
some of the comments she's made, but people forget like what she did for women's MMA, and
she
there would be no female MMA fighters if it wasn't for Ronda for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
From the way she looks, her skill set, her mindset, the way she competed. Like you're talking about an ultimate competitor.
She put women's fighting on the map.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she put women's fighters on the map. Let's not say there will be no women fighters without Ronda Rousey because they were there before her. She put women's MMA on the map, but let's not say there would be no fighters without her. Let's relax.
And that's Dana. Shortly before Ronda came on the scene, went, women will never fight in the UFC. Then he sees Ronda, he's like, maybe they will, because she was a savage. And people want to talk about like Kobe mentality, dude. I'm sure Kobe was a savage. There should be Ronda mentality.
Yeah.
Like savage.
Well, I remember you always looked up to her in a way, like just her
Savage.
her mindset and her winning. Yeah.
Savage.
Brian trying to fucking cop please for Brendan, of course. He knows his role very, very well. He knows how to make sure the gravy train keeps running. You won't wait for shut up.
But again, I'll say this: like, if I write a book, which eventually I'm sure I will, that this isn't a knock on.
How do you say "will" like that? Well, what do you say? Well,
like just her
Savage.
her mindset and her winning. Yeah.
Savage. But again, I'll say this: like, if I write a book, which eventually I'm sure I will, that this isn't a knock on her. Maybe I don't know interest in her past relationship. This isn't a knock on her. Maybe. But again, I'll say this: like, if I write a book, which eventually I'm sure I will, this isn't a knock on her. Maybe I don't know what the book's about. Maybe if it's like love.
Yeah, big up Warren Kenner. Her judo is nasty. They're just really good strikers now. They kind of weren't then. Yeah, that's the thing I always felt about Ronda. Why I felt it was also kind of tragic how it ended, because it was sad to see the game just like pass her by while she was still active. It's like, fuck, bro. Things move on while you're still trying to do your thing, and you just can't keep up. Like, it just is the nature of it's just what it is. And it was just sad to see, because she was having to try to make up a skill gap that she was never going to make up. And these people were younger, hungrier. It's just like, it was never going to work out. So it was quite sad to see how it ended. Obviously, she didn't handle it the best when she left the UFC and shit, but it was just, yeah, like, God damn it, bro. 1 minute she's like mollywhopping everybody. Next minute she's getting made look like she can't fight, Because no one had a problem with her like shitty shadow boxing and hitting the mitts crappy, right? No one had a problem with those like horrible hooks she was doing in the promos until she got murked a couple of times. Then everybody started to look at her striking dodgy. But no one really had an issue with it before, because you never saw what good striking was or what high level striking was. Then suddenly it got high level and she just got left beat. I don't know, man. It's a real tragedy how it happened. Like, she probably deserved. You can't say she deserved to go out on the top, but I think she deserved to go out better than that, for what she did for the sport. She deserved to go out better. But again, the UFC is like, they don't play when it comes to the matchmaking. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, they throw you to the young, hungry wolves so fast. Like, there is no, like, warm-up fight. Like, especially when you got the belt. Like, there's no warm-ups. There's no padding of the records. Like, not really for the most part. You just get thrown to the wolves, and people are hungry, because UFC doesn't pay them as well that well, so they got extra incentives to get the belt because they know how much of a big payday it is.
Of interest in her past relationships, and that makes sense. I'm in the book.
Yeah, big up Jack Donaghy Jr. Remember when Rogan said her boxing was what? Her boxing was better than Mayweather's. Exactly. Big up Fashion Road, man. Her ego also played a part. Tried to trade with Holm and Nunes, knowing full well she has no hands. Yeah. That Amanda Nunes one was the one that I have to admit, I felt every blow. I felt it, because I know what it's like to fight somebody, like especially like sparring, and you could tell they've got more power than you and they've got more precision, and they're just like bah bah bah. It almost felt like I was like I think I felt those punches, and she had no idea what to do. She was just like dancing all over. Like I felt so. That's a fight that broke my heart. I swear to God, for her, I broke my heart. Holly Holm, yeah, obviously that was fucking crazy. She got caught with that fucking head kick. But the Nunes fight was just like, that was like a, what they call it? That was like a bully. You know when you get ragged? I don't know what people prefer. If you're a UFC fighter, what would you prefer? A bully beatdown or get ragdolled? What's more embarrassing? You know the bully beatdown where when the fighter like knows that you ain't got nothing for them, and they just come at you with their arms down, like looking like making you flinch, bang bang. Like, what's worse, or getting ragdolled, just getting like picked up, you know, taken down from minute one, like what Khabib used to do. What's worse, getting ragdolled like how Khabib used to do people, or getting just blowed up like how Francis used to knock people out? What's worse? I think the Khabib one is worse, isn't it? You remember Khabib against what's his face? Khabib against the Brazilian guy that just kicks. Remember that one where he was like looking up, like he was like didn't know what to do. What was his name? You guys remember the Khabib just like destroyed that guy's will? He crushed him. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I forgot his fucking name. The one that kicks really good. But is it Barboza? Is that him? Let me see if I can get that actually. Is it Khabib Barboza? I wonder what's worse for a fighter. Like, what actually hurts the ego more? What's harder to recover from? Like, could you remember this? Do you remember how one-sided this was? Like, fuck you now. Ragdoll for, yeah, big up. Happy to see Ronda get put in her place. Barbosa, Ragdoll is worse. Big up for Roma. Everyone can get lucky punch, but someone just controlling you is peak. Yeah, for sure. That's actually a good point. Actually, that's actually a good point. You can probably rationalize it in your head that way too. That's probably why knockouts probably don't affect fighters as bad as they probably should, because you got knocked out. You don't remember it anyway, but you remember a ragdolling. You remember a ragdolling. Like, do you remember this face? He looks so helpless, bro. He looks so like, yeah, this is the one I remember. That's the face. That's the one I remember. He looks so helpless. Like, he didn't know what to do. He was like stunned. Like, how do I get up? Why is this guy on top of me like this? Mummy, daddy. Like, he wanted help and no one was willing to help him. Look at that. Look. He's just like, for the 100th time, like, look at that positioning. Look at how high up. Like, look at that. Look how high up can we, like, total control up against the fence. You're not going anywhere, bro. You're really not going anywhere. He's trying to get like, oh yeah. I don't know. Big up fucking Edson. Is it Edson Barboza? Yeah, big up Edson Barboza. That's the one that made me feel sad. I'm not gonna lie. I felt kind of sad. Bro. Like, look. It was just total domination. Yeah, exactly. Getting bullied. Anyway, let's continue.
But like my book, her and Travis wouldn't be.
Yo, big up 24K. Yeah. I saw the Diddy stuff. Check out the previous stream from today or yesterday. I spoke about the Diddy stuff. Fucking crazy. It's crazy how people see this stuff, innit? During the day, and it drops. I guess because I'm terminally online. I saw it the moment it came out. I was like, what? I was on stream. I was on my feed actually on Twitter. I was like, what the fuck? I thought it was a skit. I thought it was like a made up bit thing. I didn't know it was real. So it's mad, isn't it? How regular people just see stuff when they see stuff. But when you're terminally online, you think everyone sees it at the same time you saw it. It's like, nah, some people have jobs to do. Some people have like families to look after. Some people have responsibilities and stuff to do. I'm just on my phone all the time like a fucking psycho. But yeah, bring up 24K.
A highlight of my life. You know, it's just not, that wouldn't make my book. I'm flattered, I guess.
Well,
you know?
I think that's Ronda's a bad motherfucker.
He's such an arsehole, isn't it? He's such a, like, even in this situation where Ronda is known to be a bit of a arsehole herself, in this situation where Ronda maybe isn't the most believable narrator, Brendan still manages to find a way to come out of it looking like an asshole. That's the talent that he has. Really, it's a talent. Really, it is a talent. That is one of the talents. Like, even in a situation where you should come out of it looking better than the other person because Ronda's widely, derided and stuff, he still finds a way to make people not like him.
It depends how you look at it.
Yeah. I either way, I think it is what it is, man. Relationships are relationships,
but to bring it up,
everybody has
14 years later.
Can we? No, but let's talk about the Ronda Rousey's ex-boyfriend or boyfriend. I would like to hear him talk about that, because that would actually be a good moment of like vulnerability and honesty. Imagine if he said, "Yeah, actually, it was kind of hard dating somebody who was at the peak of their powers in UFC, while I was getting like mollywopped by, like, I don't know, who's the fat guy with a gut that knocked out Brendan, right? Like, maybe that's a good point to be like vulnerable. Like, yeah, I thought I was going to be a champion and I was getting like steamrolled by these guys who I thought I was better than. Like, it was hard to be in a relationship with her because she was obviously the star and I was obviously trying to make my name still, and it wasn't going well. So yeah, maybe I did feel a little bit, Roy Nelson, sorry. So maybe that'll be a good point to be like, hey, let me be a bit vulnerable, let me be a bit self-deprecating. But nah, like, oof.
It is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, but she has kids and it obviously worked out, and like, it's life. Like, we weren't a match. So like, when she says mind games, no, it's not mind games.
I love how he's not even spoken about that bit of the book. He wouldn't be late. So I had a fight coming up and he insisted we were dating so he wouldn't be labeled Ronda Rousey's boyfriend. I love how he hasn't mentioned this, the RRB. Please mention the RRB, Brendan. Can you point to that exact bit of the fucking quote? Could you speak about that, please?
Games. Like, the mind games came from, in all honesty, her camp. Like, that was the trouble she had. That's a whole nother issue Of
course. It wasn't me. It was other people. Of course, the classic Brendan Schaub thing. I didn't do anything wrong. You just read it the wrong way. It got clipped out of context. I didn't mean it that. It's like, bruh, no accountability at all. I love it. If you don't know what she's talking about, just stick with that. Saying you don't know, but then saying it's the team's fault, classic.
You can address. I have nothing to do with that. I didn't train at her camp. I don't know the coach. I did nothing. I have nothing to do with that. Mind games, I guess when she means mind games, that would mean I wasn't into it. It wasn't a match.
It just wasn't a match.
So and you were around during that time and you knew this. I'd be like, dude, I don't know what to do. Love the girl.
Yo, big up Abe Martinez. Personally, I would not want to be walked down like a prey, an animal, and get starched. That's very embarrassing to me. If a guy ragdolled me and just grapples me the whole time, I'd rationalize it. Scared to throw hands with me and trade punches, he's how I could rationalize it. That's true. I understand that, but I think having heard all the explanations, I think I'd hate way more getting ragdolled. I think the feeling of being helplessness will be something that you couldn't shake, that'd be something I'd find it hard to get over, like knowing how, because also I personally think, I don't know if you guys believe or agree with me, but I think it's easier to learn how to defend takedowns or improve your grappling skills overall than it is to improve your striking. I just think unfortunately, unless you start at a certain age, there's just certain shit you're just not gonna be able to do as some high level people. So I feel like knowing that you got ragdolled and you got dominated by somebody who's far better than you and that you're never ever gonna catch them is a very sobering feeling, because now oh shit, I can't really ascend up the rankings now because everybody above me isn't just gonna strike. They're going to mix it up. They're going to be mixed martial artists in the true sense of the form, in the true sense of the word. And the fact that I don't have that in my arsenal is a real, issue. I don't know. It's a real issue. I think even Francis Ngannou is a good example. He basically improved a tiny bit of his grappling defense. And look how much better it made him as a fighter. Look how much dangerous it made him, because he had obviously the God-given knockout power, but then he was able to stuff takedowns suddenly, you know what I mean? Like, that helped him considerably. So I think the grappling thing is easier to learn or easier to close that skill gap. It's not, no, you're still not going to do it maybe in some respects, but I don't know. It's all bad. Knowing you're inadequate and knowing you tried your best and you still can't match people, it's just not going to hurt. It's just not going to land well anyway. It doesn't matter.
Girl, as a friend, but when it came to that, I'm like, dude, it's just not, she's not my person. I found my person. She's not my person. So it's like, if it's not a match.
I remember you wanting it to be. I remember
we tried. It's just not.
Brian, man, shut up, Brian. Shut up, Brian. Shut up, Brian. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God, bro. It's so embarrassing. Like, he would never do this for you. Honestly, he wouldn't really. Honestly, I hate this fucking. Let him speak for himself. Let him try and defend himself and put his foot in his mouth. But I guess Brian's also smart. Doesn't want Brendan to speak for himself and say the wrong thing and get them both cancelled. He needs to keep this podcast running. But it's like, what were you in a room while they were fucking? Probably was, knowing Brian. He probably was. Oh, can you send me pictures?
Wanting it so badly to be your person.
It's just not.
Because you loved everything about her.
You might not want to say that because he's married now.
But sometimes in life, it's just for you. It's just not a match.
No,
you,
it just wasn't.
It's not there.
And again,
I've had that before.
And it doesn't mean she's a bad person or I'm a bad person. It just we're just not.
Yeah.
It was never going to work.
I remember that so well.
And I had to have that conversation.
I remember you calling me.
It was awful.
You were like,
yeah,
I want. I remember it. I remember you said, I want so badly. Because I like everything about her. I love everything about her. She's such an amazing person. I said, you got to go with what your heart is what your gut tells you. That when you decide to marry somebody or make it your life, that is not a rational decision.
No.
Like you can.
Hey. You have 2 marriages. I don't want to hear anything from you, bro. You divorced your first wife to go with a woman that was like, what, in her 30s or some shit. You popped out 2 babies while in the midst of rape allegations. And you still don't want to be a stay-at-home dad or spend any time with your family. Any excuse you go to tour, you find it and you leave the family. Like, let's not try and hear any kind of, beast of a dad, beast of a husband talk from Brian Callen. Please, let's not hear that. You know what I mean? He's the most like, yeah. Let's not hear that. The Ring is just for show.
Look at all their accolades and all their stuff. I think when you choose to make it that person your person, this is how I feel about my wife. I don't know why. I could give you all her awesome qualities.
What about the first wife then? Why was she not your person? Because she got annoyed that you were going away. Because that's basically what it felt like from what we remember seeing on. Do you remember when he got divorced? Do you guys remember this law? Do you remember when he got divorced? And Brendan was saying, "Oh yeah, now he's much happier." Do you remember that on Les Street on their podcast? Yeah, he looked different now. You're gonna be way funnier now. Your comedy's definitely going to improve. Like she was holding him back. Like she was holding him back. Do you remember? Like Brian's ex-wife was the reason why he didn't get his comedy special on Netflix or something. Like, come on, bro. Come on.
Qualities, but I don't know why. One day I looked at her and I went, "You're the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. Like, you're the one."
Mandy W, he's banging Snaz. I don't think so. I think Saynaz knows how to play the game, knows how to navigate a working environment where she's seen as an attractive woman and not let anybody smash or not let anybody hit. I think she just had to play that game to her advantage, Make sure you get your invoice. Oh, babe, can you pay my invoice? Did you get my invoice? You know what I mean? Make sure the invoice gets paid. Make sure the fucking, travel is covered and, expenses get covered as well or get paid back, but not enough to kind of give up the fucking, the clam. I don't think so, personally, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I can't bottle that.
You just know.
Yeah, you just know.
But in the last conversation, the last words I ever said to her, I said, told her how I felt, told her it's just not going to work. Clearly both upset. And I said, and you will never talk to me again. I know you and we will never talk again. And we've never talked again.
Sucks.
Never.
Never. Not a single word.
So that's kind of wild though.
It's
yeah, exactly. That is kind of weird. I've even had some very contentious breakups and you do exchange some. It doesn't have to be like anything. Maybe it can be a little bit of a, you might spin the block, and get a little in just to kind of, get out all the tension and kind of make up for lost time. But you might exchange something, maybe a double tap, like something, like, come on. No, anything gets exchanged? No any words at all? It sounds like a toxic relationship on both sides.
It's not, though.
But then you never talk to her again, but like you said, like kind of popping up in a new book.
Yeah, but Brian.
Sanaz, be very careful, darling. You're actually a good introduction. You're actually a good addition to the pod. You're breathing some life into it already dead. The pod's on life support. But please mind your P's and Q's. Be careful. Be very careful. He doesn't like getting challenged. He doesn't like being questioned. He doesn't like being contradicted. This will not end well for you, darling. Please. Relax. That is so funny. That's such a good point. You never spoken and you're on the One more time.
Never.
Not a single word.
So that's kind of wild, though.
It's not, though.
But but then you never talk to her again, but like you said, like kind of popping up in a new book.
Yeah, but
she's not talking to me. Yeah. Like she's not, I'm popping up in the book like that.
What? Hey guys, what the fuck's Uche talking about in the chat? What's she talking about? How is hate fucking less toxic than not speaking? Huh? Guys, what's she talking about? I don't know. What's Uche saying? What's Uche talking about? What's she talking about? What's Uche talking about? I have no idea what she's talking about. What's she talking about? Huh? What? I think that's like something that what she's saying. I don't really know what she's saying, but like I don't know what she's talking about. No idea.
And that's in a negative, like that's to highlight Travis and her and what she was going through. I'm sure it's like her last few fights, dealing with camp.
You were mentioned.
Getting, her relationship with Travis, how that started. And then I'm in that story, I assume.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's just like, and then she explains that. Like,
I also think it's hilarious. I think it.
You said, no, I think that was out of context. I don't really remember. I think that was out of context. I don't really remember. Like, I don't think that was actually me. I don't know. Maybe my microphone kind of like, maybe the cable was a bit loose. Maybe someone said there was an echo, right? Maybe it was my echo. Maybe it was a delay. It made me add some words on there, but I don't really know. I don't know.
What I love about it is that she goes, I could have sworn he mouthed Ron as fuck.
Maybe he did.
Poetic justice.
Maybe he
great.
did. Yeah, maybe he did.
Well, in her mind, it sounds like in her mind that's what it did. It didn't say he said that.
Hold on. Why did Brian Callen say that's poetic justice, by the way? Brian Callen said that was poetic justice. If Travis Brown did say to him, Ronda says, fuck you, that's poetic justice. Why was that poetic justice, Brian Callen?
Sworn he mouthed Ron as fuck.
Maybe he did.
Poetic justice.
Maybe he
great.
did. Yeah, maybe he did.
Well, in her mind, it sounds like in her mind that's what.
Brendan's licking his lips, mouth getting dry.
That's what it did. It didn't say he said that because I don't believe.
Maybe he did.
Love ya, Uche.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember asking.
And if he didn't?
I remember asking you.
And if he didn't?
You were concussed. It's like it wasn't like you were hearing.
Wasn't that concussed? No. But even if he did say that, it was maybe.
Hold on. We saw how concussed he got when he knocked his head on the fucking roof when the airbag knocked his head when the truck flipped. He's trying to tell us he didn't get concussed a little bit when he was getting pounded on the back of the head from Travis Brown. And I think he's actually bigger than him, isn't it? Wasn't Travis Brown taller than him? Oddly enough, because Brendan's tall anyway, but Travis Brown's a big dude, bro. Like, okay, he wasn't concussed, I guess. Bonus points.
He did. But even if he didn't, if I'm writing a book, I would have made it way worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
I would exaggerate way worse than that if I was trying to sell books.
You got in that, forget all that.
Oh, so you would exaggerate and lie to sell books. Good to know.
I remember when you got in that ring, I was with you every day for that camp.
Yep.
I remember when you got in that ring and you were like, I've done everything I can. You were all ready. And I swear to God, when I saw you, because your head was so in podcasts and you had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, which is
I was making more money doing podcasting.
The famous podcast with Rogan. And he said that. And I remember
I don't think Brendan's enjoying how Brian's laughing at the thought of Brendan being in an octagon. The way Brian is laughing about it, thinking, I don't think Brendan's liking how he's laughing because it's almost like he's mocking him, you know? Oh, Travis, what the? He's 6'7". Yeah, I knew it. I always remembered him being very proportionate body-wise. Like, he's just long everywhere. He's got long arms, long torso, long legs. That's what I remember. You know what I mean? I remember that. And also, he's really good striking. The kicks, like, it's actually kind of wild how big he is. But, yeah, fucking hell. Brendan had to really go through it, innit? He had to really get some big dings in the head to fucking quit.
But I saw you because your head was so in podcasts and you had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, which is
I was making more money doing podcasting.
The famous podcast with Rogan. And he said that.
Of course, Brendan brings up the money thing.
And I remember seeing you. You were across from Travis. I looked at you. I swear to God, you looked like you had just woken up from a nap. Your hair was a little messy and you were like this. You were squinting and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And I think I was with Tim Tebow at the time. Tim was there. He was watching with
Tim came to the Andre Arlovsky fight.
Okay, that's right. That's right. But I remember seeing this. And
I was ready for that fight. I don't think that's fair. I was ready for that fight. I was ready to go. I just, Travis was just better. Like, people forget, like, Travis fought Cain Velasquez. He fought Verdum, like, Josh Barnett, like, Gonzaga. He was, I just remember, like, we had a
I wonder, you remember when he said about Steve will do it? Do you remember when he said Steve will do it and he was threatening Steve will do it and he was like, oh, that's a good point. I didn't see that, Uche. That's a very good point. I could see that happening too, actually. I could see that happening very, very soon. Callum's already in that phase. He could probably, would he tattoo his head? Oddly enough, I think Callum looks better when his hair is actually shorter than what he's got it now. When he actually cuts it way shorter, it actually looks quite good. It's no bad thing, especially because he grows a full beard. Just mix it up that way. But I don't think he likes looking his age, unfortunately. He doesn't like looking like an older dude. He wants to kind of fool people to thinking he's in his 40s. It's like, bro, you look your age. Like, just refine it and make it look good. Just, make that look good. But I don't know, whatever. Everyone's got weird ideas in their head. What was I gonna say about this thing? Do you remember when Brendan was threatening Steve will do it, and he said, unless you're Francis Ngannou, unless you're what's that thing called? What's his name? That Ryan guy that does the fucking grappling, the jiu-jitsu dude. All these people, you can't beat me. And it's like, there's a lot of UFC guys that beat you. Why don't you name it? He was naming all the elite people in their fucking discipline, but he wasn't naming someone like Travis Brown. Like, you know what I mean? But it's good he's giving him his flowers now.
Training partner I thought was similar size and he wasn't. Like, Travis was so big.
Oh fuck! I remember when he had that wide stance.
His athleticism and his basketball background, like, he's a fucking nightmare, man. It couldn't be a worse matchup. Also, it made no sense either. Like, I was coming off a loss, and then you pair me up. Travis ranked number 3 in the world, so it didn't make a lot of sense.
They wanted to get him out of the UFC. That's my theory too. I don't know if you guys remember, but back then Brendan was talking a lot. Brendan was really going in on Dana before even Ariel was doing it. He was to be fair, let's give Brendan his flowers. Like, he was speaking up for fighter pay. Maybe it was all self-interest, but he was really screaming about it. Like, he was probably one of the only main big people out there to do it, especially a fighter. Especially nowadays, fighters don't like to upset the apple cart, but he was really putting it out there. And I don't think the UFC liked it, so I think they purposely were giving him fights to get him the fuck out of here. Like, I personally think that was the case. So I'm not too sure actually. That's a good question, KP. I'm not too sure if the fight was post Eskimo Brothers, but he definitely wasn't in the good graces of Dana, and I forgot who the other guy was. I remember Brendan said he fell out with the other guy. He's the guy behind Dana. He's the other guy that does the matchups. I forgot his name. White dude, dark hair, glasses. I'm sure some of you guys who are balls deep in UFC know what I'm talking about. I think he also might be a matchmaker. I forgot his name. And he's sometimes there at the UFC fight nights. If Dana's not there, he's sometimes there in the crowd. I forgot his fucking name. I think Brendan fell out with that guy as well. And that's obviously, you basically fell out with everybody. Is it Hunter? Is that his name? Let's see. Hunter UFC. What's his name? Yes, is that Hunter Campbell? Is that him, right? Hunter Campbell. Yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy. Yeah, Brennan allegedly fell out with this guy too. I remember he mentioned him before. This dude. So, yeah. Tough one. But again, props to him for speaking out about everything that was going on there. Let's continue here.
If I put my tinfoil hat on, I could give you some reasons why that fight happened, but I'm not going to. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. But you know,
I go back in time, and I just think to myself,
let's see. Maybe it was Joe Silva. Maybe you're right. Brendan to show up. Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's Joe Silva. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I think I remember Joe Silva. You're right. Big up. Who was that? Big up Patrick Spicer. I think you're right. I think it was Joe Silva. Look at all the headlines. Slams. Yeah, let's read this one. MMA News. I think you're right. So as a former fighter, let's see because these things are always full of fluff. Let's see, what did he say here? What did Brennan say? Yeah. Look how obviously Brennan's way of talking never changed. Joe Silva's a savage, man. A fucking savage. He was a guy who was on the Sherdog forums. He was a big fan, and he got this role as a matchmaker. Really? Joe Silva was on the forums of Sherdog and ended up being a matchmaker at the UFC. What an insane come up. Matchmaker of the UFC, dealing with the toughest guys in the world. Joe Silva is 5'1". He's this little Sherdog forum troll who had a lot of power in UFC. He had a lot of power. He controlled guys' destiny. He got drunk on ego. He was a motherfucker, man. The stories that will come out of this, if he did gain traction, I don't think it will, but I would assume every fighter has a Joe Silva story. Shaw went on to say, you better not treat him like your fucking friend. I don't know. Standard, isn't it? Does sound like standard UFC shit. I'm surprised Brendan was surprised, to be fair. And then he went on to the funny thing is, he then went on to do stand-up comedy and use the same kind of bully boy tactics that they used on him to other comedians. That's the funny thing about the situation, isn't it? That's the funny situation.
Do jiu-jitsu and get a black belt?
No, I would have I would have been a black belt. That I want to go back in time, and I want to be 3 months before that, and I want to say, hey, you're gonna practice one thing for this fight. He's gonna have that wide stance, and you're gonna practice driving your shin into the lower meat of his calf.
That's stupid.
What do you mean stupid?
That's not what I do.
Low kick?
No. Hey, bud. Hey, 3 months before the fight, let's work on a technique you don't do at the high.
You couldn't pick that up in 3 months?
No, that's stupid. Because I think I've thrown one head. I'm not
talking about head kick.
I love how he's dismissing, like, ever trying to improve his skill set to improve his chances of winning a fight. No one's saying you have to be high level, but just offering that as a threat to the opponent should help, innit? If you're able to throw kicks to a certain level, it's going to make your opponent think twice about doing certain things because you've got more tools in your arsenal. No. I'm just going to say, okay, I guess that's why you are not in the UFC anymore. Big up Super Jello. Yeah, exactly. Joe Silva, Adam Eager. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm talking about low kick.
Even harder. So we can talk about it. So that's not my thing. I never threw kicks. I never kicked. It's not my thing.
Can you just like
and
fucking
technique?
Do you have to fucking piss on my parade?
Well, yeah, I do.
Like, I'm just
because it's not realistic. But I want people to know, like, that's the thing. So in order to do 3 months before a fight, you're learning.
It's not real. Of course it's not realistic. That's the thing. I think people who lie a lot and people who refuse to accept responsibility, they love this, because I notice this again, low cows do this all the time. DSP, Wings of Redemption, Boogie. They always go to extremes. There's never just this, like, no one's saying you're going to be fucking Edson Barboza in 3 months. No one's saying you're going to be fucking Wonderboy Thompson in 3 months with your fucking kicks. No one's saying that. But surely working on something to nullify the threat of the other guy is an option. It should be, especially if you know what you know. If you know what you know, you're not gonna learn anything new based on what you already know. You should already know how to do that. Whatever you're good at. If it's him is punching, if it's grappling, whatever, he should be good at that already, right? Or jiu-jitsu. He's not gonna improve his jiu-jitsu to consider, but he probably will improve some level on his striking. You know what I mean? Exactly. I just said, like, if you're a good athlete, you should, you know, there should be something there. It's like what we saw with Francis Ngannou, right? Obviously, he went from 0 to something, but still, we saw improvements fight by fight as he kept kind of learning and progressing and changing coaches and camps and stuff. Brendan's just pure dismissiveness of it. Maybe he's got a point again. He's a former fighter, so he knows more than us anyway, so whatever. But not being open to that at all probably explains why his career worked out the way it did in fighting, you know?
No, nothing new.
Really?
Nothing.
You can't put that in your
Fuck
quiver?
no. Hey, you're not a kicker, become a kicker. No. You would work on that like what years prior?
I don't know, man. Low kicks? Like what? Why? You couldn't.
It's not what I do.
It's not what I do. But then you do everything else. That's a funny thing. It's not what I do, but then he's the master of never staying in his lane. So make up your mind. Do you stay in your lane? Do you not stay in your lane?
If you had Pereira, who was like, here's what you're
Alex?
gonna do. Yeah. He could teach you that shit. You're pretty athletic.
It's hard to explain.
You wouldn't do it in the fight, right?
No, like
he might punch you in the grill, time it.
No, it's none of that. But if you're not a leg kicker, and if you're not training that, know the timing.
Okay, cool. So big up everybody here adding more insight. This is very interesting. Big up Warren Kenner. He loaded up on his punches so much that AZ, you're deaf, right? You def can fake them, but if you use them, they're not in point. You could get rushed. Okay, very good point. Yeah, exactly. You start opening yourself up. Okay, very good point. Big up Bertola in Japan. 3 months before a fight, you can't practice new shit because it takes longer than that, but you're fighting 3 times a year. So in the 3 months between the fight, next camp, there's no point. Yeah, that's a very good point. 3 times a year, especially if you're not injured. 3 times a year is optimum, especially if you're not injured, maybe more. Yeah, it's probably a waste of your time to do that, isn't it? So you never improve, makes sense. And I said, okay, low kicks are technically harder than mid kicks. And he just doesn't have he's not really what's that word called? He's not like a student of the game anyway, right? He's not like that type of person. So maybe it's not really necessary, especially when if his mind doesn't believe it. Why even go that way? You know, like it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I think you guys, I think he's probably right in this respect. Maybe Brennan is right in that respect. Maybe he didn't know what his strengths were. He's just, unlucky that he probably would have got further in the UFC if he joined maybe a few years before he did join. Maybe he would have got by with just the level that he had. But unfortunately, as he was progressing, the skill level just kept improving, and he wasn't. He might have had the stature and the build and the athleticism to be there, but skill wise, he just wasn't. He shouldn't have been there at all. He probably should have been in Bellator or something of that ilk, or even in Bellator nowadays. The competition there is fucking crazy, but he probably really didn't even belong in the UFC if you think about it. Really.
And how to do it.
Let me adjust. Let me just adjust my time machine.
And then to do that, and
Man,
at the highest level,
if I'd gotten you 2 years before that fight, dude, I would have had you drilling fucking low kicks.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know what I did? The dial was at 3 months. I meant to put it at 2 years.
3 years.
3 years. 3 years. You need 3 years.
3 years, probably.
Dude, all right, 3 years.
To do it at the highest level is tough, man. To download and put it into your game, it takes years and years. And then not only let's say the 3 month thing, so you're doing camp, but then when the lights are hot, you're going to do what you know. Like, you're not going to try new shit.
Unless you're Verdum. Verdum did a flying sidekick.
He does that in practice.
Hilarious.
That's what Verdum does.
That was hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, kicking, that'd be wild just to throw that in. Unless you're really focusing all the time, yeah.
Verdum is doing flying sidekicks when he's sparring.
Uh-oh. But yeah, shout out to them for the book. Hopefully,
hey, how about
it goes well?
Condescending.
I'm sure it will.
What's the book called?
Fuck Brendan.
Honestly, how does he speak English that way? I'm sure it will. How you can always spell? I'm sure it will. Is that an accent thing? People in the stream chat, if you're from Denver, do Denveronians speak like this?
Uh-oh.
Denverinians. Denvers.
But yeah, Shout out to them for the book. Hopefully it goes well. I'm sure it will.
What's the book called?
I'm sure it will.
Fuck Brendan Schaub.
Our Fight.
I'm on the cover. Our Fight.
Our Fight.
Is it about her and her?
Our Fight mean when me and her would argue?
God, she looks great though. Does she look great or what? Fucking what a, what is she doing? Is she in?
I love the blinking. He's fucking pissed, bro. I love the blinking. He's blinking extra hard. Look at the blinking.
For the book, hopefully it goes well. I'm sure it will.
What's the book called?
Fuck Brendan Schaub.
Extra blinking.
Our
Look at the
Fight.
blinking.
I'm on the cover. Our Fight.
Our Fight.
Is it about her and her?
Our Fight mean when me and her would argue?
God, she looks great though. Does she look great or what? Fucking what a, what is she doing? Is she in the WWE now?
No, she left WWE.
Yeah.
I think she just
For someone that doesn't talk to her or know anything about her, he knows a lot about her, doesn't he? Hey.
wanted to be the fuck out of the limelight, huh? Is that kind of what it was about? My Fight.
She also made so
My
much
Fight, Your
money. She doesn't have to do anything. Like, she's set, man.
No, this is an old one. This is a
Yeah.
2015 one. So, yeah, so now it's...
Yeah, she's also made so much money. Like, she's won. Like, she doesn't have to do anything.
I'd love it if on that screen where it shows the Amazon thing, because if when you buy books, if you know, it will show you, oh, you purchased this book. I'd love it if, like, accidentally, it showed that Chin actually bought it. So he was lying, he did buy it and read it. That would be funny. I'd love if that little bar came up on here. You purchased this book on... He already had it. Yeah, big up Victrola in Japan. Victor, being scared to try something new is also why you lose. My coaches would teach me new shit before a fight, and I would just never want to do it because I knew and I got beat. I'd revert to what I knew and got beat. Yeah, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. That's why they always say, like, a lot of stuff, especially at sports, is all mental. Most of it is mental because it is, right? Because if that goes, there's no hope at all, zero. You see it a lot even with people that aren't technically gifted or talented. I think a lot of athletes say that, especially the ones that are self-deprecating. They'll be like, yeah, I don't have the records of talent, but my mindset was just ironclad. You know what I mean? Could always push through adversity, whatever. All that sort of stuff is really important, maybe more so than actually your skill set and shit, probably, you'd imagine, especially at the highest levels as well. But yeah, it ended how it ended for Brendan. It probably ended well for him anyway, because he still ended up being what he's being now.
Mm-hmm.
She did it.
There was a moment where she was thinking about coming back. Is that rumor?
That was rumors, yeah.
That was just rumors. She
Yeah.
never said it.
Wasn't Brendan spread that rumor? Didn't Brendan put that rumor out on purpose and fake it? Was that story? Do you guys remember that? Didn't Brendan put out that rumor himself because he said he wanted just to get views and shit? Or am I thinking about somebody else? Didn't he start some like shitty rumor about somebody coming back? It wasn't actually true.
But she did transcend athletics, man. She was.
Oh,
I don't know
people
why
forget, man.
why feminists aren't writing teaching like classes on her as a.
Because she's an arsehole, unfortunately. She's a real torchbearer. She's a real fucking, what's that thing called? She's a real legend. Should be looked at that way, but unfortunately, she was such an arsehole when she left, and clearly still is an arsehole now. People just don't want to talk to her. That's the only problem. Her attitude kind of fucked her, really. Which I don't sure if it's her attitude, if it was CTE, but yeah, she just, unfortunately for her.
Trailblazer.
Agree.
The first person to come in and show like a bunch of bros like myself and everybody else that women have the same ferocity and heart as men do when it comes to fighting.
Exactly.
I mean, in a lot of ways, they want to win just as bad. You don't think so?
I don't know about that, but I do think like it's almost she needs to hire like a PR team to help her, because she's very, which is good too. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She's gonna tell you what she thinks, but the way she's handled the media since she's retired, it's like almost like overshadowed her accomplishments, which she's basically.
Is he trying to say that Ronda Rousey needs a handler? Remember how he reacted when Rogan said that about him? Can you imagine your ex-boyfriend saying that you need like a PR agency because you're too reckless? You remember when he got upset when Rogan said he needed a handler, and he's now trying to say Ronda Rousey needs one? She probably does, but it's just funny. Didn't he get upset when Rogan said the same thing about him?
basically the Hoist Gracie of female fighters.
Yeah.
Like she is what Hoist Gracie stood for men. She's the Hoist Gracie for women.
She's the pioneer.
Like Hoist Gracie couldn't strike, didn't have all the skills, but still won, became a champion. She was kind of similar, couldn't really strike, dominated, and then it catches up to them. But that doesn't take away from what they did. Yeah. So it's like she almost needs a higher PR team just to soften and be like, hey, it's okay to say Holly Holm was better at striking. It's okay to say Amanda Nunes fight was, you were going through some tough times and that was a bad fight. Like you can give them their flowers. You can give people credit. But again, this is one of the downsides. When you have her mentality and you have that Kobe mentality, and I think her mentality is probably even.
For someone that doesn't want to talk about it and doesn't know why he's in the book, he has a lot to say. That's why you're in the book.
Stronger than Kobe's. When you have that Ronda mentality, they're not that the downside that doesn't come with it. They will.
You know what's funny about this? He doesn't have her talent or didn't achieve what she did, but he acts exactly the same way. That's funny because she's got an excuse because she was obviously really good at a time when everyone was. It doesn't matter if everyone's crap. She was dominating, so you could probably argue that maybe her success changed her and she couldn't handle not being the baddest bitch on the planet. It was difficult to be seen as not good anymore when you are running through people, right? I can understand you can kind of rationalize why she's hard to like and stuff or unlikable. Brendan had none of that. He had none of that, and he still had the confidence of a fucking Georges St. Pierre or something. You know what I mean? Like, you have none of the talent, but you act like, you know what I mean? He's like, what? So that's the interesting part of it.
Never give you a fucking inch. And that's why she's the greatest female fighter of all time. She won't give you a fucking inch. Think about it, this book is, what are we dating? We dated over 10 years ago. I'm in your book? Like, think about that. Savage.
You know, it was that way, Dan Gable.
Why is he so surprised, though? You were the only major boyfriend that she had before travel. Like, why is he acting like she's being an obsessive stalker or something? It's interesting the way he's trying to. Is he trying to act like he's a victim? Look, he's got the victim hand though. He's doing the victim hand. That's not nice. He's doing the classic Brendan's a victim hand. No, remember? He's got a good range, Brendan, isn't it? 1 minute he was threatening to beat the brakes off of Steve or do it. Next minute he's saying Ronda Rousey's bullying him. I love it.
Dan Gable remembers, my friend wrote a book and interviewed him. Dan Gable remembers and in detail the one match he lost in high school and talks about it. About it. Like,
but the ultimate winners are like that. Like, Ronda's a winner everything she did. Judo, whatever she does, she
what
WWE.
What about Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame acceptance speech?
Savages.
Big up Sean. He only gave her an inch. Big up fucking Sean.
There's not a lot of sincerity. Like Kobe Savage. Yeah. Like those elite people, and there's not many of them, especially when it comes to athletics or whatever.
Yeah, big up Jack Downey Jr. Not in sport, but in the same thing happened to him in Showtime when he partnered with them. Exactly. That's being his downfall. Exactly.
Rogan, Savage. Rogan doesn't forget anything.
No.
He's like a baby elephant, dude.
No, does not forget.
Tattoos.
He does not forget. And he'll be like, and he
forgets nothing. I do.
Imagine bringing up Rogan in this situation. Oh my God.
We'll shut you out of his life too.
And you're out forever. Not me.
No. You and I we'd be the worst judges, the worst cops.
No, see, I wouldn't say that. Like I could do my job, but it's not good to hold.
He doesn't want to concede anything. I can do everything. I'm the best guy. No. I'm the best. Like
that. Like
some people.
Hold on. You know what I find really insulting? When people do shitty things, but then expect you to forgive them instantly. Maybe it's the religious thing as well. Yeah? Yo, big up Don Dota, wagwan. I hate that shit. Like, I'm going to do a shitty thing to you, but then you have to forgive me now and do it right in front of me. Give me a hug. Let me know it's okay. Are you sure? It's like, bro, you don't get the right to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm allowed to feel how I'm allowed to feel about the situation. Please don't, rush me into accepting and forgiving what you said or what you did. And Brendan does the same sort of thing here. It's like, you can be an arsehole to people, but because you forget, they should forget. Is that what it is? It's collective amnesia. Because you're over it, they're over it. What if they've got a grudge? Is that not all right? Can they not have a grudge or not?
I wouldn't trade my mindset for Ronda's, even though maybe that would have made me a champion, but that comes with, once you retire, there's some darkness and there's some heavy shit there, man. And like when you're raising kids, it's not good.
Brendan basically insinuating that Ronda Rousey isn't a good mum because she's writing about him in her book, which is less than 2 paragraphs. The more he talks, the worse he's making it. I understand he's pissed off, but
But so, that's one of the downsides. Like, and it's in everything: business, friendship, relationships. Like, it's tough.
Yeah.
But it takes you fucking high, man.
I think for me, I believe.
But I bet her book does well. I bet it does great.
My thing is this about everything. I think
trying to act unbothered. I wanted to do great. Yeah. Just called her a bad mum. Just said she's obsessed. Make her seem like she's a stalker. Mentally ill. Hope it does well, though. Hope it does well.
I think forgiveness is a fucking miracle, and I think forgiveness should be exercised all the time.
Yeah, big up TV Huck, exactly. And big up Asad, I was here earlier. That's it, exactly. He's just playing the fucked up mind games here. Exactly. That's exactly what he's doing, isn't it? That's the mind games. Acting like he doesn't know what he did wrong. What'd I do? It's like the Yuri thing. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? What, because the fucking TTS called you infertile? The TTS said you look like a bag of chips. Why are you crying?
And I also think that just in general, if you have a grudge against anybody in life and they're renting space in your head, I think you're turning your back to an extent on your future.
No, shut up. The person that allegedly has raped some people and harassed people, and the guy that bullied people and shit on people on his way up is now telling people to nah. I'm a strong believer in sometimes never forgiving, never forgetting. Or if you're gonna forgive, cool, but never forgive. Or if you're gonna forgive, cool, but never forget. Or sometimes both. No, like, it's okay. And also, I think it's just very like, it's just entitled. There's a sense of entitlement there to expect people to be like you, like emotional wise. Like, some people just don't take things lightly. Some people just not gonna, sometimes it's things that you don't even intend for it to be bad. It was done with the best of intentions, but the person just didn't receive it well. And they said, fuck you. Sometimes you don't get a chance at first impression. I've learned that. Everyone learns that in life. You just have to live with the consequences of it. It is what it is. But you don't get the opportunity, you don't get the right to like make it seem like they're being obsessed, because like, it's like everyone's different sometimes. And look at Rogan. Look at how far Rogan's got with that kind of attitude, with knowing who to cut off, who to kind of back. Like, it's done him pretty well, to be fair. These guys having this weird open door policy and being welcome, look where they are. Exactly. So I think I'd rather go for Rogan's mindset of like, let's cut off the fucking freaks and the weirdos and let's go that way, personally. But again, what do I know?
And that there's a book called The Tools. Phil Stutz talks about that.
Was that a quote from the book?
Yeah, it is. But I like it because I thought about it. Because there are people in Yeah. Well, that's
you stole the line.
No, but
you're like, there's actually this book, and I'm like, well,
I've given it credit. Yeah. But when I read it, it made sense. I went, because there are always people that in my life certainly have space. They're
living rent.
Like Tigerman, right? Like that woman Tigerman, probably. Like the editor of the fucking Los Angeles Times, Amy Kaufman, right? I'm sure some of those people live rent free in his head, right? Maybe even Whitney Cummings, maybe the new booker at the Comedy Store who said no more grapists allowed. Like, there's probably a few. Kalala's sister.
Free. Rent free. And when I read that, I went, damn, man, fuck, just give love, just shoot love, and just
shoot love. I think is that sexual assault or no?
Forgive and forget.
Shoot loads of love, man. You said it best.
I didn't say loads though, dude. Why'd you say
that means
loads?
a lot of love.
No, dude, I don't like the way you said it.
A load of love.
No, dude, that's a different kind
I'll
of
give you a
load.
load of love.
That's a different kind of load.
It depends.
Let's take a little break.
Yeah, because let's take a break. Brendan was exhausted having to talk about himself and have any type of introspection and have to face the consequences of things like, face up to maybe the things that he did in the past and how it negatively affect people. It's exhausting. Oh, what did I do? Oh, who did I annoy this time? For fuck's sake, get over it. I'm over it. You should be over it. What a weird way to live in the world. But, what can we do? That's fucking Papa. That's fucking Papa. But in all, I think, like I said previously, I have this theory that you can't be in control with people's. Once you have it's fucking trying to find the fucking thoughts in my head. When you go through something with somebody, they have an experience of it, you have an experience of it, and because you engage in that situation, whatever it be, sexual, relationship, friendship, they have every right to share whatever their side of the story is, however they want to share it. You don't have a right to control how they say it. You might have your own point of view of how you see it, but it doesn't invalidate theirs, and theirs doesn't invalidate yours. But I think some people that do fucked up shit don't like people even mentioning it. Like, why are you mentioning it? It was like, why are you annoyed that she's mentioning it? Like, of course she would. Like, you're part of her story. Like, it is, you guys are intertwined. Like, it is what it is. Some people probably don't even know you, and probably only know you because of that as well. Like, that played a part in the knowing of him. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a weird thing about why he's trying to make it seem like she's some instant. Like, she was one of the most famous, if not still one of the most famous UFC fighters of all time, MMA fighters of all time. Like, it's a good thing that she's mentioned you in a book, really and truly, because she's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But maybe there's other things. Maybe there's other things included there. Maybe there's other things. Who fucking knows? Let's continue here. So, I want to play this video because I want to play the 1090 Jake one because I want to see what happened with G-Face. So I think that's most of it, right? I don't think there's anything more that happened on that episode. Actually, I don't think there's anything more that happened, actually. Let me actually go through this stuff quickly, but I want to play the 1090 Jake video. But let me see if there's anything else that happened. But I think I've covered most of that. We saw the shrimp thing. You guys seen this, and it's not something to comment about, but have you guys seen this? What's his name? Jesse on Fire. Going in the whip with his wife to go and confront somebody that stole something. Have you seen this? Jesse on Fire to go, but look what they called him on the subreddit. Methy on Fire. It's fucking hilarious. Have you seen this clip? This is kind of funny.
On right now.
To get our kid's phone back, watch, whatever it is.
Some kid stole Giselle's Apple Watch from the this dance show that they were doing.
How kids are so dumb not to realize that you can track anything Apple is so stupid.
So we're going to their fucking house.
All right, chill out.
People have a bad record of stealing shit from us in Texas, dude. We just literally drive to them and go, we're going to go ahead and just take our shit back. Thanks. Somebody's going to be in big trouble at that house, I think.
Recording yourself going to go pick up a stolen item for somebody's house with obviously a bit of an aggressive tone in your voice, and then it leading to maybe some violence is maybe not the right way to go. Just do it in silence. Go and do it. You don't need to. And look how you put it as well, sound on. Why do you need to sound on? Sound on. Like, this is like, also, do you need to share this? Like, this is stuff that happens, couple shit, innit? Family shit. Like, doesn't need to go on the internet. Do you need to record the video? Why can't she record it for you? Why are you recording this while you're driving? All right, unfortunate situation, but go sort it out. If it's a kid, go get the thing, go tell off his parents, and go back home. Is it anything more than that? Like, bless the wife as well. You know, imagine day-to-day living with that. Oof, bumber-hearted. Bumber-hearted. We did that. Boom, 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 boom. We did the fighter. Oh yeah, we seen this. This is fucking hurt. Have you guys seen this? Pick up the No Jumper subreddit. Honestly, maybe after the Fighter and the Kid, No Jumper subreddit might be the best one after the Fighter and the Kid, especially because of the influence they have on all the host and ex-host. I think the only one to level the banter and the memes and the jokes is the Fire is No Jumper subreddit. I swear to God, the No Jumper V2 back on Fig 2. I think those subs are the only ones that come close to matching some of the jokes you see on Fire and the Kid. This is an epic fucking clip. This features Ace Boy Rios of Ace Boys, who are on, you know, who's AD's guys and Puns guys, having some comments to say about Blasey going back on No Jumper. This is kind of old news, but listen to how he describes loyalty, because you know these guys all hate Adam 22. They hate the white boy, right? So listen to how he kind of describes loyalty. Like, this will hurt your brain like it hurt mine. Listen to this. Like,
the shit that nigga said about T-Rail. I barely know T-Rail. I just met T-Rail within a year. Just met that nigga within a year. I will never fuck with that white boy because of that shit. Because of what he said about T-Rail's wife. Because of what he said about T-Rail. And nigga, that's not blind loyalty. It's the fact that nigga had me in his house, nigga.
That is blind loyalty, isn't it? If you only met somebody a year ago and now you're willing to crash out on their behalf and you're willing to completely write off the other person involved in it and not see the other side, that is blind loyalty. Like, what do you know about T-Rail? Like again, like, funny way to kind of describe, to say you're not blindly loyal, but then describe you being blindly loyal.
Like, that nigga has extended the olive branch and been, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, I just wouldn't do that shit. It's just, I can't get with that, nigga. Like, for what? To be on a show, to make some money, nigga? Like, nigga, money is gonna come. Nigga, I met T-Rail a year ago, nigga. Less than a year ago. I've probably been in T-Rail's presence probably like 4 or 5 times, nigga. And it's not blind loyalty, nigga. It's just like, stand up, nigga. Like, I ain't fuck with that shit, nigga. I met Heather a few times. I don't deal with disrespect like that. Like, nigga, like, you said that about the homie's wife, nigga. Oh, it's over. T-Rail might forget that nigga before I do. Nigga, like, that's just how I get down, cuz. Like,
isn't that a little bit, like, does that make any sense? Like, why you get, like, I don't know. Like, I guess, innit? I guess I guess it makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you, that's what matters, isn't it? But surely you'd want to, like, know what the issue, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna rationalize goons and gangbanger fucking, you know, mindsets, because the way they think about the world, the way they rationalize it, doesn't make any sense to me personally. I don't have no idea what those guys are talking about, and what they speak of, what they think of. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm not gonna even try and make sense of it. Let's do actually point and shoot as well. Let's do point and shoot. Let's do point and shoot and then do 1090 Jake. So point and shoot has got a new video actually. Whack 100 fakes an attack on Poet Flotter. Yeah. It feels like everything goes around in circles, isn't it? We're now approaching an era in content, especially on YouTube, where we're starting to get like fake podcast beef. And No Jumper's been doing it for a while. Creating these fake conflicts and these fake arguments, these fake debates and whatever clashes between their hosts to cause drama and get more clips. I feel like this is a thing that's happening now. It's like a return to like fake pranks, like that kind of era. So I think this is what we got with this issue exactly going on here. Like, allegedly Whack wanted to hit, like, I don't know, whatever. Let's continue. Let's play this. Yeah, big up peace Victor, big peace. Come on, brother. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, so for this video, I want to talk about Three Fingers Whack 100 lunging after and charging after Jala for.
I love the inside of his leg. I swear to God, I love the inside of his leg.
I guess letting people talk shit about him. I think that's what's going on. So Whack.
Oh my God, Frederick Jala. Frederick Jala. I love how he says his name as well. It's absolutely
100 got mad at Jala for allowing these other LA gang members to diss his hood, Whack 100's hood, Pacoima, California. So I guess someone said something bad about Pacoima, and then Whack 100 found out, and then he got mad at Jala. So he got up and like charged after him and lunged after him and needed to be like restrained from behind. I'm not even kidding. This is exactly what happened. And it was so stupid because it was fake and it wasn't real. And it was all just a big botched skit orchestrated by Three Fingers Whack. And I'll explain what I mean. So Three Fingers Whack is trying to help DW Flame, a good friend of his. He calls him nephew, DW Flame. DW Flame has a very shitty podcast, and it's not doing very well as far as ratings and engagement. So what Cash Jones, Three Fingers Whack 100 decided to do was fake like he was going to lunge after Jala and beat him up. And he thought that this would cause the blogs and the Reddits to just fucking go into a whirlwind of positive press for this podcast that DW Flame hosts and get him into some headlines and stuff. But the problem is that it was so stupid and fake that no one took it seriously, and everyone's just saying that he like fake nuttied on Jala for views, which is exactly what happened, I think. And so Whack is putting fertilizer on the soil and trying, as he would say, you know what I mean? So, and that's why I think he staged this fake debacle, and I'd like to cover it in full. So let's take a look at this. Let's look at the first clip. This is going to be like, Whack 100.
Whack 100 really is like an adult loser, isn't it? Like in all shape and purpose. But it's also been fascinating to watch because I think it's a very good insight into like how I think Whack is like a representation of like that West Coast guy, record industry dudes who are like, they carry that hood street mentality into the music industry. That's probably why the music industry can't exist in LA, because there's so much gang politics and, you know, intimidation and big boying and like, you know, what you call it, checking in shit going on there. That's why the most of the record industry just stays in the East Coast and doesn't try to fuck with the West Coast. It's just too much shit going on there. And he represents part of it. It's like, you know, like just a nonsense, really. A nonsense. A grown ass man that's like, yeah, I don't know.
100 getting mad increasingly and then springing up to charge at Poetic Jala. Let's see this.
Oh, bro, I ain't gonna hate on what I help fertilize.
I can dig it.
Flacco.
Yo, what I do, man?
I asked you to keep your phone on, bro.
You gotta stop talking to Flacco right now. You know he ain't talking with food in his face.
What you mean?
No, wait. I'm gonna stop.
Flacco, you need to come see me before I leave.
I don't know how people can do this. Like, maybe I'm just a bit, maybe I'm a big wuss. Maybe I'm just a little bit precious. But just eating on stream like this is so bizarre to me. Just stop. Or just, I don't know, play a video while you're at least if you're gonna eat, do what Hassan Abi does. Have a video playing, you just eat on the side with your mic muted, preferably. Maybe just do that. Have a video playing, or just come back later. I don't know. Put the stream on pause. I don't know, whatever. I don't get this. Like, who wants to hear this shit? But I guess there's some people that don't mind this because it's like you're eating with them, maybe. I guess, but I don't get it personally. I think this is odd. You could eat before, you could eat after. Like, are you like, I don't know. Like, how long are you recording? 2 hours? You can't just wait until you finished.
Hey, Flacco, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, man.
Because they want to get you.
What? Wait, what I do though? I've been minding my business.
Because you're being used, Flacco.
He just said he the most wanted.
But you got to stop letting niggas use
Yeah, I think you're right.
But nigga, at some point,
I think Warren Kenner is right. Ultimately, probably it's just an age thing. Maybe it's just a generational thing. Maybe younger people don't really give a fuck. It's not really that big of a concern. I just don't. Less to do with the microphone sound thing, Most of it is just me enjoying my meal. Like, I don't like eating standing up. I don't like eating walking. You know what I mean? I want to sit down. I want to be at a table. I want to be at least on a bench, on a chair. I don't want to be just be like, you know, eating it in the air like this in the podcast studio. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, they've got a table there. They've probably got a little kitchen there. Why can't I just sit down and just quickly bang the food out? You know what I mean? Like, why'd I have to sit on a leather couch that's been covered in coom and eat like that? Like, you know, I don't know. And I can't really get into my shit. You know what I mean? As well, as I'm on stream, I have to eat like I'm in front of people.
Platform is gonna be a platform they got to come diss my neighborhood, and you're gonna find out what it is.
Wait, but like, hey, but like, No Jumper is not my platform. It's Adam's platform, right? And the show itself.
Flock on Paul. Hey, listen.
Hold on. What the?
Wow, so this is bizarre. So Whack 100, it looks like he thinks for a moment, and then he springs up out of his seat and charges toward Jala, almost looking like he's hoping someone's going to grab a hold of him. No one does, except for P. Nice. He grabs his shirt from behind, starts pulling on his shirt as if that would be, with one hand, as if that would be able to stop Whack 100. So Whack 100 feels the shirt tugging behind him. He's like, okay, I'm get restrained if I didn't get restrained. You know what I mean? This isn't a true restraint. It's staged. I mean, what was Three Fingers Whack intending to do originally? Go stand over him real quick? I mean, he would have succeeded in whatever he set out to do with this response from DW and P. Nice. By the way, look at this. Look at this hand down here caressing the hip of Whack 100. I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I quickly just sort of wrote,
I don't think he realized it, but that's some real fat boy shit, by the way, right? You're on some fighting thing, but you're still subconscious of like your shirt showing your belly, right? If you're that angry, you wouldn't be, you know what I mean? But that's some real fat boy shit. Even in the midst of you being angry, you don't want anybody seeing your belly, which like nobody you see under your shirt anyway. Like, he's still worried about pulling his shirt down.
Do with this response from DW and P. Nice. By the way, look at this. Look at this hand down here caressing the hip of Whack 100. I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I quickly just sort of wrote it off and said, it's probably Whack 100's hand. I'll take a look at this later. But upon my second look, I was like, wait a second. Is that P. Nice's hand? Is he reaching around and caressing him gently yet firmly from behind? But I quickly discovered that was not P. Nice. And so the last person on my list, ironically enough, was DW Flame. And sure enough, that's whose hand was caressing Whack 100's hip. What? And I was like, wow. So he really copped a feel right there. He was fucking, he's barely see it. So P. Nice yanks on the shirt, exposing the left side of the waistband of Three Fingers Whack's pants, revealing there to be a pistol in the waistband. As that's happening,
that's what he's covering. It's not the fat. My bad. He's not covering the fat. He's covering that fact that he's got. How is that possible? Why wouldn't you have a holster? Wouldn't that drop? You're wearing sweatpants. They're not that tight, are they? How do you have a whole? Or is that just what people do in America? You just carry a gun without a holster in your sweatpants, like on the side like that. Is that what people do? Isn't that a bit of an insane place to put your gun? Won't it drop? Won't somebody take it from you? Easier like that. If it's not like, no? Or am I bugging?
Flame is reaching around and covering the pistol with his hand, and this was bizarre. Like this is your reaction. This is your knee-jerk reaction, is to reach around with your awkward arm and put your hand on this guy's like naked ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of crazy to me. So it would have taken more than a gentle caress and a tug from behind to get Whack 100 to stop what he was trying to do. So this was staged.
To be fair, that P. Nice guy is really pulling him back. That P. Nice guy's a tall dude. He's a big dude too. He's really pulling him back. So I could imagine he could stop, you know. Plus, if you know, it's late, basically his shirt is like choking his neck. He is really yanking him. This is not like a soft yank. That's a big boy yank.
This was 100% fake, and everyone knows it. All the blogs are talking about how this was fake. This is just so far from a success. Jala was not even scared at all. He didn't even flinch. It was crazy. And look at the guests. Look at these two chef guests that are just sitting. I mean, this was not frightening to anyone. This was not real in any way. People were like, why is he faking? Like, you know, it was just so stupid is what I'm trying to say. And so after Three Fingers Whack left, the hosts would clown on Flacco and make fun of him for getting pressed.
Nigga, bro, Flock, when Wack was talking to you,
yeah,
boy, you was scared as a motherfucker. hey, I know you be stuttering, but your eyes and your head was like,
no,
what
I gotta see that clip.
But what I do, Wack?
I gotta see the clip.
What I say, Wack?
No, I'm just stuttering up.
But my thing is,
gorillas in the chat.
Why you was trying to throw it off on no jumper?
So P-Nice is the new guy, okay? And he's blatantly making fun of Jala, making fun of his speech impediment, his disability. You know, he's not even he's differently abled, okay? He's not even disabled. He's just special in his own way. And P-Nice is making fun of him for it to his face in front of an audience. P-Nice says that Flacco was spastically stuttering in fear when Whack 100 was standing over him. I'd like to play you the clip back.
Big up
and show you
bodybuilding
guys that
news.
Chala
Yeah,
was
more than a
not
few
scared
yanks,
at
my
all.
friend.
He was
More than
filled
a
with
few
courage.
yanks.
Look at this.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of surprised. Again, I don't encourage violence, but I'm kind of surprised no one's actually beat up Flacco yet. For how he talks, like the crazy, you know, clickbaity fucking videos he puts together where he's literally trying to incite violence or something. Like he's trying to cause an issue by how he clickbaits the videos and the thumbnails. Like, I'm surprised no one's actually beat him up. I'm actually surprised by that, legitimately surprised. But it also goes to show that maybe people don't mind it because it's all part of the media game, it's all part of the content game. He's making a video about you. That means you're noteworthy. That means you're gonna get some clicks anyway. It's gonna increase your clout. You know what I mean? Maybe that's all part of the game. It's all part of the circus. So maybe that's why. But I'm surprised because he's legitimately, you know, he's easy enough to, like, you can imagine why somebody would want to punch him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he has a very punchable face, the stutter, the way his lips, right? That lip swing he does, like, it's just, fuck, you know. The horrible, and it's also impressive as well how he just has horrible taste in music. His opinions of music are terrible too. Like, if anything, I think his strength, really, I think, is probably talking about, like, other stuff, like relationships, politics, all that sort of stuff. Like, in that kind of, like, rah-rah, you know, what you can call Kevin Samuels way. But I think when it comes to music, it's not really his forte. He doesn't really have good taste in music. Doesn't look like he can dance. Like, I don't know. I just don't trust this guy when it comes to giving an opinion on the albums, all that stuff.
Didn't even get scared at all. He wasn't even, I mean, no one in the room was even startled in any way. Whack 100 is so small and so bald and short that no one's really scared of him. So for P-Nice to just bully Jala, and he continues to bully Jala. Look at this.
Shut up, nigga.
You went last week in the Bronx.
Flock, shut up, nigga.
No,
I was there
stop
though.
doing
Hey,
Flock
Flock,
like
stop
that.
talking.
Stop doing cut like that.
I was there though. Oh shit. Shit. Hey, yeah. My bad.
Nah. No amount of podcast money could make that acceptable. No amount of podcast money could make that fine, could make that fair. What the fuck? Look how they're talking to him. Ugh. Come on, Flacco, man. You gotta stand up for yourself, man. You can't be getting bullied on camera like this.
P-Nice is brand new to No Jumper, and he's already shitting on Jala. That's insane. So this goes back to what I was saying about how no one respects him. You've got these Pac Sun gangstas, these fucking podcast cribs that come on.
What? They're calling Pac Sun gangsters? Yo, point and shoot is hilarious. Pac Sun gangsters podcast cribs.
They've been working at No Jumper for like 2 weeks. Nobody is really a fan of them, yet they feel comfortable making fun of Jala to his face. So that is, if I was Jala, I would be very concerned about that. So there you have it. That's
exactly big up Warren Kenner. I just don't know when this happened. When this became like usually you want to put on especially when all those other guys are on No Jumper, they want to put on fun shows and talk about things and maybe talk about certain topics in the culture and stuff and maybe have some hot takes. But that was the priority. It wasn't what's this now. It's like the priority nowadays is like drama, beef. You know? That's the weird thing. It's sad, really. It's sad. I don't know why, but it's sad to see how things have turned out. Like the beef is the main thing they're pushing, not like, you know, their opinions or their person. Like, I don't know. It's just a strange thing. But hey, what can you do? Big up
Swag 100 staging a fake lunge.
Big up fucking Point and Shoot
for clicks.
Check out his video.
A fail. So
I recommend you check it out. He's got a great channel. You see it there, Point and Shoot. Loads of really good videos on No Jumper drama. So if you want to check him out, he's a really good content creator to check out. So before we finish today, we're going to watch this one more video. End of sentence. I want to check out what happened with fucking G-Face. I'm fascinated because I did not see this one coming. I did not see G-Face being a fucking federal informant since 2005. Like, wow. Let's see what happens here because I'm curious to see how this guy is going to still exist in the world, knowing that he snitched on the fucking cartel and everything else in between. So let's actually see this video. Big up 10 Jack. Let's see what happened here. No, I'm actually surprised by it. I don't know.
When you put your business out there,
I'm shocked.
Becomes
I'm
everyone's.
shocked. Yeah.
But when you put other people's business,
I'm slightly shocked about this stuff. This caught me off guard.
You become a target. The feds have officially indicted none other than 39-year-old Yuri Kachikian, who's more commonly known as G-Face. If you're subscribed to No Jumper, you've likely seen G-Face before. An Armenian immigrant, G-Face would gain notoriety for his ties to the Southsiders, a predominantly Mexican gang with historic roots, stretching from Los Angeles and all throughout the California.
Hey yo, ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? He ends up joining a predominantly Mexican gang. They end up making an exception for his Armenian ass, and he ends up snitching on the homies. Ain't that a fucking bitch? You make an exception for this motherfucker. He's not even from where you're from, and he snitches on you. That's why they don't like outsiders. It makes sense, innit? That's why gangs stay within racial lines. You make an exception for somebody, and then they go and fucking tattletale. Oh, annoying.
On your prison system. Before his interview with No Jumper, G-Face could be seen alongside controversial rapper Swifty Blue in a video that went viral warning visitors of Los Angeles to check in.
Oh really? Okay, I didn't know that. Big up Bodybuilding News. Armenians are kind of a thing in Mexican gangs. They're like a sub gang. Okay, cool. Okay, fair play. It just doesn't make any like. It's wondering how gangs work in it. What would Armenians have in common with Mexicans? Maybe politically, historically wise, history wise. If you think about the neighboring countries, but yeah, whatever. I guess, you know, there's an explanation for it, I'm sure.
Gangland, the southern side. I'm right here with the homie from White Fence. Check it out. If you ever in Los Angeles and you out here handling business, make sure you tap in with some solid homies for your own security. The streets is dangerous. If you're not tapped in, you will get stepped on. Believe that. You will get stepped on. Believe that. The streets is dangerous. Tap in. Tap the fuck in.
Swifty Blue would speak highly of G-Face to Adam22, securing him a No Jumper interview that would gain over 500,000 views. G-Face would describe moving from Armenia to Los Angeles at a young age and eventually losing his cousin to gang violence. Adapting to the culture.
Is that it? Big up everybody in the stream chat. Is that it? The reason why Armenians link up with fucking Mexicans is because they're not black. Brown skin. I love it. I love how gangs work. I thought there was something more layered to it, but it just is what it is. They're not white and they're not black, so they go with the Mexicans. I love it. Big up the stream chat. I love it.
G-Face would claim at only 15.
Yeah, exactly.
He was
That's a good point, Warren. Armenians are racial shapeshifters. Exactly. Look at Kim Kardashian. Exactly. Look at Kim Kardashian. From one day she's white, one day she's mixed race, one day she can look Asian. Like, it depends.
He was arrested for 2 attempted murders on the same gang that took his cousin's life. According to G-Face, he wouldn't be released until he was 34.
I'm from West LA. I'm from White Fence. I went to prison at the age of 15.
And to be fair, if you didn't know this guy, looking at him, you'd think he's Mexican, innit? Let's be honest. If you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't think he's Armenian. If someone told you, fair enough. But if you just had to like guess straight away, you'd probably think he was Mexican because he kind of racial dollars himself, innit? He kind of like carries himself a certain way. He moves a certain way. He's tied up a certain way. You know? Yeah.
I wasn't really out here in the scene. I'm 38 years old now. I went to prison at the age of 15. I got out at 34. I got charged as an adult.
So what did you do that you got?
Now, you know what will be harder, actually? Big up Thick Nectar. I think it would actually be harder if Armenians, even if there weren't that many of them, actually did make their own gang. That'd actually be harder. And they rolled like the 300. Like, there's not many of us, but we are, you know what I mean? We're fucking stick together. We never give up type of thing. You know, we take it to the end. We're ready to crash out at any moment. Like, that's actually a harder thing than just linking up with an already established gang. Like, I get it, you know, protection. I get it, getting where you fit in. But actually, Armenians linking up and just standing on their shit, that would actually be kind of hard, like doing their own thing. But in LA, what territory could you, I mean, that's where it gets a bit.
Got like 20 years.
Basically, my charge was attempted murder, 2 attempted murders, dropped down the attempted manslaughter, and 3 counts of armed robbery.
Now, this interview would spiral into a gang of conspiracy theories and accusations. Not only photos, but whole songs would be dug up showing a younger, less tatted, no beard having G-Face rapping by the name Lil Ghost and claiming a gang known as Armenian Power.
Fuck all you rap bastards snitching and shit.
Oh, there we go.
In the drop top pins, Lil Ghost Capone, sitting on 20-inch rims. Got the Glock on my side, extra clip for backup. Extended clips in case these busters act up.
This would contradict.
We know why he quit, innit, rapping, because he's fucking garbage. God almighty. Armenian Power, you know? Ugh. Is that kind of neo-Nazi-ish or what? What's going on there? So did he have a bit of a neo-Nazi upbringing and then suddenly he started to love Mexicans? Ugh.
His original story of being from White Fence 13, a known rival of Armenian Power. Rumors began circulating that G-Face or Ghostface or Lil Ghost was attempting to cover up his past. Not long after, he'd be accused of snitching and appeal transcripts would be discovered stating Ghost, aka Yuri, testified and identified in court the man that shot at him.
So the main issue why he got brought down was because of that No Jumper interview. Fame eventually cost him everything. It wasn't enough. Because the thing about these type of dudes, probably on the streets, people always knew, right? It's very hard to conceal shit like this on the streets. When you're actually out here in the field, stepping on like everybody knows Wagwan. So most likely, if you are, you know, this is no surprise to people that are actually gangbang. But he wanted more than hood fame. He wanted to be internet famous also. Got a No Jumper, big, you know, blew up his profile, and it all came crashing down around him. Clout is the most dangerous drug in the world.
Whack 100 would even confront G-Face to his face about the paperwork.
So Yuri is a dude that...
No, Yuri's me. You talking
Yuri
about
is you.
Yeah.
Yuri admitted
harmonious
that at the preliminary hearing, he identified Abrahamian as the driver and the person who shot at him. And he had told the police that Skinny was the only person in the car. Is this real or fake? That's what that come down to.
I got the real paperwork right here.
So you saying this is fake work?
His name and everything. Look. Check this out.
G-Face was now starting to feel the heat, but didn't even know the feds were about to raise the temperature. A federal indictment would reveal.
Yeah, I'd love to know what happened. So if you're an informant, to get picked up by the feds, that means you must have been. So maybe he's gonna try and defend himself against his snitching allegations by saying, "Oh, I was." Like, it's almost like what Rick Ross did with the police correctional officer thing. Remember, Rick Ross was like, "Oh, I'm still a goon. I can still be I can still be about it because I was working inside of the prisons, maybe doing stuff and getting stuff in and shit." That's basically the theory out there. So maybe G-Face will try and protect himself by saying, or defend himself by saying that he was a federal informant, but he was feeding him fake intel, but still moving heavy in the streets. Maybe that's what's happened. Because I'm curious to see why he got picked up.
Reveal Yuri, aka Ghost, and his wife were now facing federal charges for.
Hey yo, big up Fit Connector. No, for sure. Like I know Jake has a sketchy past himself. Like I just watch it because the content's good. To be completely honest, no one that's actually got a rep is gonna be on fucking YouTube making videos. You know what I mean? Whose rep is unblemished. You know what I mean? So he always was gonna have those skeletons come out of his closet. It was unfortunate when it did, because obviously it kind of tarnished his name. But he does make the best videos on this sort of stuff. For better or worse, he does make the best ones on YouTube. Let's be fair.
Conspiring to commit wire fraud, committing wire fraud, and engaging in a monetary transaction in property derived from unlawful activity. The fact that the paperwork says Ghost instead of G-Face also seems to confirm his previous alias, as he's documented as Ghost, the one from Armenian Power. So how the fuck did this happen? According to the indictment, Yuri and Yelena owned two businesses together and shared a bank account. Between July 2020 and June of 2021, the feds alleged the couple applied for small business loans and PPP loans by falsifying business documents. They'd received two loans worth $290,000 on top of a PPP loan worth 20 grand. So why is this news? Well, it just so happens
he's going to pen for 300K. Really?
that while G-Face was on No Jumper telling prison war stories, in reality, his face was no good. No matter who you are.
Exactly. So he's acting like he's got bodies and he was beating guys down in the street, but really he was just doing white. He was just like, you know, running scams online. Like, is that what people are trying to say now? Or this was a facade? He was just doing piss. I love it. Oh my God, I love it.
If you've been to prison, you know there's always a cell waiting for you, and the wrong move will have guards welcoming you back home. G-Face knew he had a target on his back, and his only way to get out was to expose the past he's been hiding. A motion for review of magistrate's order of detention would be filed on Yuri's behalf. The feds want to keep him in custody, and this was Yuri's lawyer's chance to explain why he's a good citizen and should be released from custody until trial. It would also state he has concerns about his safety during his detention. His lawyer would state although Yuri has led a colorful life, he is neither a flight risk nor a danger to the community. He has a wife, 3 children, a house, numerous relatives, and a remarkable thriving new business. In short, he has every incentive to stay in the United States.
Hey, yo, big up Bodybuilder News, but to be fair, Michael Franzese, like, he's definitely killed a person, or he definitely knows of where bodies are buried. Like, he was involved in crime back when you could get away with that sort of stuff. So yes, he might not be as decorated as a fucking capo or general as he probably paints out, but he's definitely done some dirt. You can see it in his eyes, for sure. He's done some greasy shit. He's just one of those people who has probably a higher than average IQ of most gangsters and was able to know what to, like, how to exploit and make the most out of his time in the mob. and obviously for monetary gain, and he's been super successful about it, super successful. But I don't think he's a guy that has done. I don't think he's somebody that hasn't got his hands dirty, in my personal opinion. I think he has.
States. Leaving the U.S. would not only destroy his business, but also put his family and himself at risk. Yuri has been a target of the Mexican mafia.
Oh, he doesn't want to be deported. He doesn't want to get deported back to Armenia. I see.
2006, when he was stabbed repeatedly and left for dead. He cooperated against the mafia members who stabbed him and has been forced to live with a green light hit hanging over his head.
So the Mexican mafia, so he's had a target on his back from the Mexican cartel since 2006. But I'm assuming they haven't touched him since then because they knew he was a DEA agent. No one wants that heat on them, right? No one wants to kill, especially once they've, become very popular and very vocal and very, seen on social. Someone like that. It's going to bring too much heat to what you're doing. Fuck.
Since that time, there has been several attempts and threats on his life, including recently, and he has had weapons in the house to defend himself. Come to find out, Yuri isn't even a US citizen and is a documented alien.
Big up Warren. Exactly. Good question. They answered it. He's not even a fucking citizen and he's getting PPP loans. Yo, America, man. It must be a good place to be a scammer, innit? You can't run those type of scams here. We have so many checks and balances, so many security measures, checks. Don't get me wrong, people were running some scams during COVID, but how could you even get a PPP loan when you're not like, what? America is a place like it's you could run scams, man. If you've got a bit of a brain and a Wi-Fi connection, you could run it up.
According to his lawyer, he came to the US at only 9 years old, and he checks in with ICE once a year, providing all of his information.
To be fair, also, let's be fair, America's also fucked up. How did he come to America at 9 and he still isn't a citizen? He's basically an American citizen. That's fucked up. How can he not be an American citizen when he's been here since 9 and he's probably what, in his 40s or something? That's fucked up. That is kind of fucked up.
His entire family is now in the US. He's been married for 13 years and has 3 kids aged 16, 13, and 5. He's responsible for taking care of his mother and mother-in-law, as his father and father-in-law both passed away. Opening a trucking company, he started with 1 truck and 1 driver before expanding into a thriving business. Then in late 2022, early 2023, he came up with an idea. Knowing the most difficult part of the trucking business is starting it, he offered to mentor anyone willing to pay his one-time $5,000 consulting fee. In his first year, he had over 700 customers, grossing $3.5 million legitimate dollars.
So somebody has a legitimate trucking business like this, a legitimate immigrant fucking success story, pulls himself up by his bootstraps, but then still found his way to gangbanging. How is that possible? Usually the gangbanging thing is something that you do because this doesn't work out. Like imagine he comes here as an immigrant. He comes to America as an illegal alien. He can't get papers. He can't get fucking citizenship. And then you settle for fucking gangbanging because you can't get a job. You can't go to college, right? You can't do all those normal things. So you just, whatever, fuck it. I have to get it somehow. And you go out on the streets, you go out and you do what needs to be done to keep your roof over your head and the clothes on your back and shit.
For all of these reasons, ICE has chosen not to deport him. Unfortunately for Yuri, he didn't become a legit millionaire until after committing fraud, and now it was coming back to bite him. Yuri was now begging for a bond as his business depends on it, and each day spent in jail is another day his success.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That makes sense. The trucking, yeah, big up everybody in the stream chat saying it. Probably the trucking is what got him into gangbanging, you'd imagine, especially when you're that type of person. You probably get hit up by certain people. Hey, you're moving from place to, like, you know what I mean? put certain things in here, you get a certain cut, and then you start to get more involved. By the way, that's a nice BMW. That's a nice Mercedes. That's probably the Armenian in him. The fact that he's driving this is probably the Armenian in him. Mercedes and BMWs.
Success fades away. Giving more reasons as to why Yuri isn't a flight risk, it would state in 2012 he caught a case and never attempted to leave. His lawyer would state if he were to flee to Armenia, it would almost certainly be a death sentence as he cannot protect himself there the way he can in the US. It would expose him in a way that he has not been exposed in years and would make it easy for the Mexican mafia to have him killed. Now holy shit. This sounds nothing like the stories told on No Jumper.
Exactly.
And if my math is math, then Yuri was born in 85. So if he got locked up at 15, that would have been the year 2000. And if he was stabbed in 2006, that means he was stabbed in prison by the Mexican mafia and cooperated against them at only 21 years old. But if he served a 20-year sentence, he's 39 years old and was released at 34, that means he's only been home for 5 years. So how the fuck was he married for 13 with a 16-year-old, 13-year-old and 5-year-old kid, and he caught another outside charge in 2012, unless he lied about it all? According to Yuri's lawyer, Yuri was not a danger to the community. He is...
I love it. The math isn't mathing unless he lied about it all. It's fucking brutal, isn't it? The whole thing was a lie.
An asset. To understand his current position, it is necessary to review his history, both criminal and as a government witness. In 2000, at 15 years old, Yuri was arrested for second-degree robbery. The circumstances of the robbery did not involve a gun, and he was arrested for taking $40 from a person with a knife, sentenced to 4 years in prison, and given 2 strikes. So G-Face completely lied on No Jumper about avenging his dead cousin, attempted...
He's from Boston, by the way. 10 Jake's from Boston. He's Bostonian.
...to murder 2 rivals and doing 20 straight years in prison. In fact, the DEA became involved with Yuri back in 2005 when he was only 20 and began using him as an informant. He provided the DEA with names and evidence against several people that resulted in arrests and convictions. The government does not dispute his involvement with the DEA and his cooperation. After several arrests were made, including members of the Mexican mafia, it became clear to the community that Yuri was an informant. Word was put out that he was a snitch and needed to be taken out. And shortly after, he'd be attacked by 2 men and stabbed multiple times. He managed to survive, but it would take months to fully recover. The Glendale Police Department pressured Yuri to give up the names of the 2 men who stabbed him so they could arrest them. At first, Yuri was reluctant because he knew it would lead to more retaliation, but the detective insisted, even threatening him with jail if he didn't reveal the names. Yuri was assured they'd be arrested and he wouldn't have to testify, so he gave up the names and they were arrested for attempted murder. Neither man would take a plea, meaning Yuri now had to testify, and it only took a little convincing before Yuri agreed and testified against them.
Jesus
He knew
Christ.
doing so would increase the pressure on him as a target of the Mexican mafia, and he later learned he was #1 on their hit list.
Jesus Christ.
The government back then realized he was in danger and arranged for him to move to Atlanta and start a new life. The move didn't go well, and he moved back to Los Angeles with his family. Within 1 year of moving back, he was attacked, and Yuri stabbed one of the men, sending him to the hospital. Yuri refused to cooperate at this point. He told the officers the reason he's in the position he's in is because he cooperated before, and he was never going to do it again. It was explained to him if he did not cooperate, he would likely be charged, as you can't go a self-defense route without cooperation. But for the first time in Yuri's criminal life...
Really? Self-defense. You have to then say that, yeah, true. To claim self-defense, you have to claim the person attacked you first, which is basically snitching. So I guess if you want to protect yourself from any snitching allegations, whenever anything happens, no comment, lawyer. There's nothing more you can say. no comment, lawyer. No comment, lawyer. Like, that's it. That's it. Because even in a case where it's self-defense, you could still be looked at as a snitch if you say he attacked you first. It's like, what? But you did attack me first. And then I killed you. Like, or then I then put you in hospital. But you attacked me first. Like, it's fair game. But that's snitching. Honestly. Gang fucking logic doesn't make any sense to me.
He'd actually do something honorable. He told the police he'd rather do prison time than put himself and his family further at risk. If only he thought like that before becoming a whole DEA fucking...
Yeah, by the way, I love how he's trying to like rewrite, because I guess he regretted snitching the first time. So he then tried to like rewrite history. It's like, no, you already snitched. Your card's already marked. That's it. It doesn't matter anymore. You're done. But he's trying to like rewrite it in real tight. Honestly, you have to really think it through. I understand why some people do go to snitch, but I just think personally, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not, I'm not anybody, but I really do think there's nothing more. And I think it even applies to like friends, just general. It doesn't have to be gang stuff. Like if you do stuff with your friends, there has to be loyalty amongst that group. No one's going to say anything. You have to just keep that secret. The fact that these guys can live this lifestyle, have this way of life, and then decide when they want to fucking I mean, when it gets too much for them, like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna be a good boy and pointing it in your direction. That's the stuff that's like unforgivable, legitimately unforgivable, in my personal opinion. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. You decided you chose this way of life. Now that it's getting too hot in the kitchen, you don't want to be involved. Shut up, man.
Informant, he would have avoided all of this. Yuri would end up being arrested for the stabbing and took a plea sending him to prison for the next 7 to 8 years. Law enforcement was aware of him being an informant, and the Mexican mafia hit on him, so he was placed in protective custody. When he was released, he wanted to start a new life, but he still had the potential hit hanging over him. He moved to a location where he could not be found and started his trucking business. Finding success, he'd move his family into a home where he has put in larger...
By the way, he must have been moving right as well, innit? He must have been moving correctly if he was able to move around the streets of LA and not get touched by the Mexican cartel mafia while living in LA. He must have been moving somewhat correctly to avoid getting touched this whole entire time, even though it was well known within the streets that he was a snitch. I don't think people knew he was a DE agent on the sly, but he definitely was a snitch. That was already known since 2006. So he obviously has some weight, some street cred, which again is interesting, isn't it? How some gangsters who don't mind associating with somebody that's already got allegations of snitching just because, I don't know, the logic is just insane. It's just all over the place.
Walls, iron gates, 35 cameras, and part-time security. Yuri's lawyer would go out of his way to show that in 2024, the hit over Yuri's head is still very much active.
Jesus.
To underscore the ongoing threat, Yuri received a recent Instagram message from someone named Bozo, who sent him a picture of his house with the message that his days are numbered. In one of the pictures...
Okay. He got a DM recently. Fucking hell.
His wife, daughter, and dog are all visible. The Instagram message is saved on his phone that the police took during the search, and if they bring the phone to court, Yuri can show the threatening Instagram message. So apparently Yuri still isn't done snitching, and his...
He sounds the worst. I've got to look, they're threatening me. He's he can't come back from this, it's impossible.
His online beef with Bozo is documented through social media.
So when I did this whole YouTube shit, what I did was I was gonna show my fans, haters, whoever's watching, nothing but realness, 100% authenticity. Bro, I'm too rich for you to go to war with me, dog. Think about this. I could drop $40,000 right now for one of your little homies to off you, dog. You saying I'm a snitch?
Excuse me? on YouTube. He's saying these things. I could put 40,000 on your head. Yo, YouTube was the worst thing to happen to like black people and gangsters, in it, because what the fuck, you just saying these things on. Okay.
Why are you not doing something about it?
Yuri's entire criminal history would be summed up with the robbery for $40, stabbing someone, attacking him for snitching, and a fight in 2020 with one of his childhood friends. Yuri would plead guilty to felony assault with a deadly weapon and do 3 months in jail.
Yeah, bodybuilder news. I covered it already in the previous stream. So the previous episode, I covered it on the Diddy stuff.
At no point was he charged with attempted murder. At all times, he was in protective custody. And currently, G-Face is being held inside the San Bernardino County Jail in protective custody because of threats on his life for being a DEA informant. When the feds raided G-Face's home, they'd find an unregistered handgun in a bush, multiple guns in a safe, and $20,000 in cash. His lawyer would state the guns were for self-defense, and the guns in the safe were registered to his wife, who applied for the Los Angeles Police Department. His lawyer would also highlight how even though G-Face is in protective custody, that is no guarantee that he can be protected. Michael Torres, a Mexican mafia member, was recently stabbed to death in the LA County Jail while in administrative segregation and thought to be untouchable. Yuri understands he's likely facing prison time for his federal charges and is begging the courts to release him to not only save his business, but so he can relocate his family to protect them. With all that being said, federal prosecutors don't give a fuck and don't want him released. If anyone was unsure about G-Face snitching, his own lawyer would confirm he's the textbook definition of a fucking rat. And you'd think with all that money G-Face made, his lawyers would have attempted to seal these documents from getting released. But no, his whole case is publicly available. His whole life story has been a fabrication made up in an attempt to find internet fame, and even though he found legitimate success, his past caught up with him. With any and all Fed cases, it can be.
I wonder if a lot of his nerves, and it's obviously it's real shit. But didn't money sign Suede? Didn't he get like poked up in like prison? And I think he was in prison for some like minor, like was it like a speeding ticket or something crazy like that, something minor. And in a short time he was in jail. He ended up getting into some sort of altercation that led to him getting stabbed in there and dying. And I don't know what happened. Maybe unfortunately for Money Sign Suede as well. Maybe he was just unlucky. He got pulled over for some minor thing, ends up in jail, and then you end up in the prison or you end up in the jail where your ops are in. And now it's like what? Now you're in fucking general pop with your fucking ops. Now what? Or you cross an OG and older. Things could change so quickly. For this guy to have his card marked since 2006, he knows if he's not in protective custody, it's a wrap. Like he knows. They already tried to kill him once. You know?
Expected that G-Face goes to federal prison, but with his history of snitchery and the fact that he's charged with fraud, he'll most likely end up at a camp full of inmates just like him.
Jesus.
Yuri, or G-Face, is a real example of how snitching can.
By the way, Yuri, I love that his name is Yuri as well. You know what I mean? I love that.
And does carry consequence. He's been stabbed, hospitalized, and targeted almost half his life because he chose to be an informant. He'd change his name, change his gang, and create a new storyline for the internet while flashing money and paying for friendships he never had. He'd recreate who he wanted to be while denying who he was. And now at 39 years old, he's back in a cell on the verge of losing it all as his past has once again become his present.
Wow. He didn't even say anything more. 10 Eyes Jack didn't even add a bit at the end. He didn't even add an end bit at the end. He didn't really even add anything at the end. He just left it there. So basically, G-Face is like the Armenian Crip Mac, isn't it? In a way. Crip Mac. what, you know, kind of invented the persona of himself, and wanted to be involved so badly, he kind of got involved. I don't think Crip Mac's got any snitching stuff on his jacket. I don't think so. But essentially, that wanting to be involved so much, then you get involved, then you snitch, then that marks you out, but then you still want to be. So, I don't know. Surely after snitching, you have to just go legit. You have to. But I guess the hood fame and all that stuff, right? Being a goon or being a fucking, you know, being a gangbanger was too alluring. But I think once you snitch, you just have to go legit. You have to. Especially with him, he did business experience already. I don't know why he didn't. Fucking wild, bro. I didn't expect that. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect him to be a fucking federal informant. It's wild. Oh, got rich off Instagram, taken down by the feds. Yeah. Guys out here threatening to kill people. Anyway, that's it for me at the moment. That's it. I'm a run. That has been it. What a show. What a 2 blockbuster back-to-back streams. If you've enjoyed all the streams, all the shows, make sure you like the streams down below. Big up everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you all. It's been a fucking blast, hasn't it? I've enjoyed every minute of it. Really fucking have. Hope you have enjoyed it too, like I have. And I'll see all of you guys again very, very soon. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you like the stream. That'd be much appreciated. Just click the like down below for me. Give me a little like. Do that if you please. Do that if you may. Thank you for tuning in, please. And yeah, man. Oh, thank you for tuning in. No, thank you for tuning up, please. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. It's been a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see all of you guys again very, very, very soon. Okay? Cool.